All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You know what time it is. We are here for the Apple keynote that is happening in Cupertino on campus. You just got a chance to see what it looks like outside of their campus. There it is. That's where all the action is going to happen at 10 a.m. Pacific time. I'm Brian Tong. I'm joined with the lovely ladies of CNET here, Miss Lexy, Miss Vanessa. We're here to talk all about it before the keynote. Also running the show, the man with the master plan, Mr. Stephen Beecham. Howdy, y'all. So what we're here to do is to talk about a lot of things that we expect to see. We want you all to be a part of the show as well. We are in this new studio. That's temporary for us. But we do have a magic way that we have set a call line up for you guys and gals to call us to ask us your questions or your comments of what you think of what's coming up. So I'm going to give you that number right now. Call in at 855-979-9489. And you will be able to make a friend today.
Oh, well, multiple
Right
friends.
Multiple. Right,
what
he
about
is.
the rest of us? We're all friendly here.
I actually wasn't going to be their friend. I was going to let you guys be their
okay,
friend.
well, then that's fine.
I'm just here to run the show. So we all know we're expecting MacBooks here at this keynote. Apple sent out their invite, the October 27th invite, with a little bit of reference to the past with the hello again. Just like a quick thing we've talked about on some of our shows, that in 1984, when Apple introduced the first iMac, Steve Jobs' the first Macintosh, that was used with the word hello on the screen. Then in 1998, with the first iMac, the Bondi Blue iMac, they used hello again. They're using hello again, but really this is about the MacBooks. Ladies, we saw what Windows did yesterday.
Oh,
we saw.
What an
we
event.
saw.
Wait, the gauntlet was laid down by Microsoft.
It was ridiculous.
It was.
Tough act to follow.
That Surface Studio just was mind-blowing.
It was boom shakalaka. So what do you think? I'll start off with you, Lexy. Like, what do you think that Apple needs to do? We'll talk about some of the rumors right after this, but I just want to get your ladies' first take on what we're hoping or expecting to see and what you think they can do.
This is going to be a really interesting event for Apple. Obviously, the iPhone launch, we saw a lot of detail about the iPhone before it actually launched, and it was a successful launch. And Apple made the interesting move of deciding they weren't going to release sales figures. And then, obviously, the quarterly reports came out earlier this week, and we saw that iPhone sales were down. This is kind of like a trend that's going down and down and down. So Apple is kind of losing momentum when it comes to its flagship product phone sales. Obviously, we know that MacBooks and Macs don't make up the bulk of sales. That is the iPhone. They're going to have to pull something magic out of the bag in order to reverse that. And maybe that magic is to do with the magic touchpad.
I know you had to do that. I know you had to do that.
Sorry, you know me and my bad puns. Got to bring it out.
Yeah. What about you, Vanessa?
Honestly, I think from what we've heard in the rumors, and a lot of the times these rumors do turn out to be true, it's going to be a lot harder for them to play catch up at this point to companies like Microsoft. They already have the Surface Book, which has a touchscreen display and that nice retractable, the tablet that snaps off. So the MacBook Pro now seems a little bit dated. It doesn't hinge off, doesn't have a touchscreen. I mean, sure, it's going to have that cool little magic toolbox that we're talking about.
Toolbar.
I like a toolbox. Pull out a wrench and a spanner.
It's my addition to this. But honestly, like, is that really going to make that big of a difference? I mean, at this point, I think they've been banking a lot on their ecosystem, and they continue to, and that's still going to hook a lot of people. But now there's better options, dare I say? So unless they...
No, you don't dare say. You just say it.
I did.
That's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. I think that, look, we've seen everything that other companies are putting out. Let's talk about what Windows did, but also the HP Spectre, which is the slimmest. Some people don't necessarily like the design, but from all indications of what it's doing, and just the design level, Apple hasn't changed the fundamental design of the MacBook Pro in over 4 years. That is light years. Like that feels like 1980s right now. That's how I'm feeling right now. So we're going to talk about some of the rumors, but look, you guys are already filling up the call line, so I want to show love that we are taking your calls. We'll jump right into this first one. I'm just going to see who's there. Just tell us your name and where you're from. Calling from the 201. What's up? Welcome to CNET Live.
Do you think there will be new iMacs at the event?
There are. What's your name, sir?
Nate,
thanks for calling
Hi,
CNET
Nate.
Live, buddy. You know what? Outside of the MacBook Pros, there haven't been many rumblings about other hardware. The iMac has been rumored to get potentially, a speed upgrade with a AMD graphics chip and potentially a processor bump. It was upgraded a year ago, but we don't expect to see any fundamental design change to the iMac. And did you happen to see the keynote or at least follow up what happened with the Surface Studio yesterday? And so you know what's going on over there. And so even recent reports said Apple might not even show an iMac off today just because it's not ready. There's also rumors of their own standalone 5K display, but all indications point that this might just be a MacBook thing. So we'll see. Also, there's other hints about Apple TV. We're going to get to that stuff, but that's where we stand right now, man.
Okay.
So I'm sorry. Does that make you sad?
No, it actually makes me happy because I just bought a 5K iMac.
Oh, nice. Nice.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Be confident in that. Be confident.
Well, and even if I was Apple, even if they did have an update to the iMac after the Surface Studio release yesterday, I'd be like, you know what? Let's hold off on those iMac updates.
Well,
because
it's hard. I mean, look, the Surface Studio is appealing to a different audience, quite honestly.
Exactly.
It's really not a quote unquote, it can be a consumer computer, but it's not. It's
I
not.
know. It's for architects,
Well, not for that price,
it's for
but-
drafters.
Well, that's
it's
it,
for-
yeah.
yeah. And the thing is, like, if you think about the iMac itself when it first came out, it was really like kind of the all-in-one that really popularized and created that market in itself and made it something that wasn't just, oh, I need like a really, a grunt-worthy computer sitting on my desk because I'm doing like, high-intensity graphics work or gaming. It's like everyone wanted one of these, and it made it popular. It made it a consumer product rather than something like the Studio, which is, I know a lot of people when they saw the Studio, they were like, damn, I want one of those because they look really, really good. But, they're pricey, and, the target market is people like architects and people that are going to
Straight up creatives.
Exactly. I mean, I know when I saw that Surface style demo, I was like, mind blown. I saw the gift being played again and again, and I was like, I want one of those. I have no reason to use one. I'm not an artist, but I just want one because I just want to play with it all day.
Well, and this creative space used to be something that Apple monopolized before, and now we're seeing Microsoft encroaching on this territory. It used to be that you had to buy an Apple product if you were a creative, and now, I mean, they're kind of leading in this space at this point because, I, like you said, I definitely want it. And I'm not even creative. So.
Well, it's the hard thing is, look, you build it and they will come. Right now, creatives are still on the Mac. I mean, when that thing first came out, the hot take I said is like Microsoft is targeting creatives and Apple is targeting consumers now, and how times have changed because of that. Now, people aren't going to automatically flock. If you, I talked to my graphic design buddies and video editors, even here, they're not going to right now just automatically jump over to the Microsoft platform for creative stuff, but specific industries that they're targeting that have the software that is catered to them, like architects. This screen has a 1-to-1 ratio of what is on your paper to the screen. Like there are no devices that translate that. So when you are an artist, when you are that, again, the entry price point is like $3,000 and it goes up to as high as like $4,200. That's a big chunk of change. But from a professional standpoint, you've got to at least penetrate that market first. We'll see how it plays out. But I can tell you, people using the Mac Pros in our office are not happy with the performance that happens with those machines right now from a video editing standpoint. So I know we're raving about the Microsoft stuff, but we do want to actually talk about what we expect to see here for the new MacBook Pros. And the biggest news was just a couple days ago. We know that Apple released macOS Sierra 10.12.1.
Sorry, how do you pronounce it?
Well, for people that don't watch the Apple Bite, I normally pronounce it macOS.
There it is.
But with that release, Apple themselves basically leaked some images of what the Magic Toolbar will look like. So we've seen the rumors, but there are core images inside macOS Sierra that show off this Magic Toolbar.
They do. And the interesting thing is that it looks like it's going to be contextual. So depending on what app you're in, it's going to be able to display different information depending on what you're doing. So if you're in a web browser, I'm assuming you're going to have keys for like refresh and all that sort of stuff. If you're doing a mail app, there might be other applications too. And the most interesting thing for me, though, in this leak was seeing the Touch ID sensor on the side, which is actually, from what I can tell, or at least from that image, it looks like it's actually a little separate component integrated into the power button. And that's a really interesting move, I think, from Apple in this respect, because, I mean, biometrics is, a big thing in terms of authentication in the PC world. We have things like Windows Hello, where you're using like the webcam and fingerprints in order to authenticate. Mac at the moment obviously is a little bit slow in that respect. So I don't know if we're going to see it today in terms of features at the launch, what you can do with Touch ID. I have a feeling it's just going to be for things like Apple Pay, but it's good to know that the hardware is there. And then later on, if Apple decides to upgrade software functionality, we could see things like logging on to your MacBook using your fingerprint or authenticating other things apart from payment. I think that's a really interesting space. And it's a good move, a little late, but at least it's finally coming.
It's interesting you mentioned Windows Hello because the fingerprint seems kind of like the dated biometric at this point, and now the facial recognition and the unlocking your screen with your eyes seems like the way to go. I'm curious as to why they're kind of sticking with the fingerprint at this point instead of just matching the
I think it's
Hello.
honestly it's because it's the only platform they have. Like, quite honestly, from a standpoint of when you look at some of the tech that's out there, it's the only thing they have. So we're gonna pause for a second and hold on to that idea. We have our man on the floor, Dan Ackerman, calling in from Apple's campus in Cupertino. Dan, can you hear me loud and clear?
What? Oh, yes. Hi, guys.
Hi, Dan.
How you doing, man? How you doing out there?
I'm okay. It's a little rainy out here, so they've moved the traditional little breakfast spread from outside to inside.
Hey, Dan,
so we're all
quick
just
thing.
sort of hanging around.
Hey, Dan, quick thing. I'm going to interrupt you. The people in the Kind studio here would like you to hold your phone in the horizontal landscape mode.
Oh,
just to
look
get
at
just to get more of you. Yes, beautiful.
There we go.
Look at that.
All of us. It's like magic.
Beautiful.
It's like magic. That's a
and now you
power
can see
tip for
all
all you
the,
out there. Stop the vertical video stuff, okay? Power tip to people watching.
I know.
You know what I mean? Shoot. Okay,
Typical
continue.
Typical old guy mistake.
No, I'm not calling out you, Dan. I'm calling out the people at home. You're fine, man. All right. Anyways, continue on, sir.
We are all hanging out in what is usually the demo room for these kind of events because it's a little rainy outside. So the big outdoor, meet and greet spread has been moved inside. Not nearly as much fun.
So, Dan, you're our laptop guy. You are our computer guy. You probably have the most, in-depth history historically of what's going on and the context of this event today. We've heard the rumors. Let's start off with, what do you think Apple has to do today to help them? Because we know the Mac is kind of a focus, but it's not their biggest focus anymore.
No, but it's such a reliable product year in and year out. People who are creative professionals, that's what they use. They don't want to use anything else. I went back and looked at the 10-year history of the MacBook Pro, which started in 2006. And I went back in the CNET archives, which go back 20 plus years, and I found the first review from 2006 of the MacBook Pro, and I skimmed through it. I was like, all right, this review is okay. I wonder who wrote it. I scrolled up to the top. It was me. And I have no memory of this whatsoever.
Oh.
It's a blur, Dan. Now, with this whole Touch ID sensor and this OLED touch bar, or AKA potentially the Magic Toolbar. Alleged, yes, correct, not official at all. Is that going to be enough to all of a sudden spark a large group of people to buy new Macs? I mean, there's been a lot of pent-up demand. How do you think that might affect even just the perception of MacBooks as a whole?
I mean, if you've been holding off because you feel like they haven't really updated it a lot in the last 4 years, and you're like, I want to wait to buy one until there's a big change, well, this would be the big change then. And at least it's something different that nobody else has.
No, absolutely. I also wanted to get your 2 cents on, we saw what Microsoft did yesterday, and how does Apple, right now, sales-wise, yes, we don't know how it's going to play out. It's still a long battle to go. But how does that affect just the overall tone of what we might see here and just in your mind? I mean, you saw what they did, so.
I mean, I thought that was pretty impressive. At least it's something interesting and different that you can talk about and say, this is something I might want to try out because I haven't seen it before. The idea of taking that dial and putting it on your screen. Obviously, that was just yesterday, so it's not going to affect anything these guys have for today, which has probably been so rehearsed and so planned out, 6 months in advance. But I like to see people pushing the boundaries of what you can do with a very traditional computer shape. So more power to them.
Do you guys have any questions? I have a couple, but
Yeah,
I want you to jump in here.
Yeah, Dan, it's Lexy. I just wanted to ask a bit about, obviously, Brian just touched on the Microsoft announcement, but in terms of the competitive landscape with other laptops on the market, with all of the rumors that we've seen about the MacBooks, with the Magic Touchpad, with Touch ID, with the possibility of, USB-C everywhere, How does it fit in with other laptops on the market? I just wanted to kind of get your perspective on it. Is this kind of enough to make people, if they're sort of still on the fence about they haven't chosen an ecosystem, or maybe they're in the PC world and they're considering jumping to the Mac world, is it going to be enough to tempt these people?
I mean, that's interesting because if you think about a lot of the most advanced things that you see in computers, 4K screens, touch screens, full OLED displays, graphics that can drive virtual reality headsets, Macs don't have any of those things. So they're sort of not on the cutting edge. I think the pitch there is they're reliable, they're relatable, they kind of do the job, even if they don't have all the bells and whistles. So the question is, do you move to a model where you try to have the newest, freshest, most buzzworthy parts and features, or do you just try to be the reliable guy that you go to when the chips are down? That's the decision they're going to have to make.
We know how Tim Cook rolls, so I think we have the answer for that one, quite honestly. Hey, Dan, one other question that I want to follow up with, operating system. Microsoft showed us what's possible because they have this hybrid type OS. I know this is kind of dipping into the iPad side, but does Apple need to, we probably won't see it today, but does Apple need to do more with their OS to enable it to do more things?
I mean, that's kind of, we call that the grand unified theory of Apple operating systems. I mean, I think we've seen a step towards that when they took OS X and renamed it as Mac OS. So it's like iOS, Mac OS, tvOS, and they all kind of at least sound the same now. So clearly there's some thought towards putting these things together. I would not expect to see a major leap, though, beyond what we've seen in Mac OS, where it can work with your phone and your watch more closely to like copy things from the clipboard and to unlock your computer from like 2 feet away with your watch.
Dan, it's Vanessa. What other products or announcements are you expecting today? Based on maybe previous events, are we going to see something other than the MacBooks?
I'm going to vote no. I mean, you never know. There can always be a surprise, but I feel like they just did the phone thing. So the Mac stuff is going to be the focus here.
Dan, wait, so you don't think we'll see an iMac with a touchscreen that reclines down, that's weightless, nothing like that?
With a built-in virtual reality headset.
Yes. We're looking for. Thanks for the inside scoop, Dan. I appreciate that. All right, man. Dan, thanks for your time here. I know that you'll be busy over there, but you can follow Dan, your reviews, your first looks, your first takes on everything, and then also we have our live blog that will be complementing our coverage. So thanks a lot, Dan. We appreciate it.
See you guys. Bye.
All right.
Thanks.
So that's a live on site.
Oh, it looks
on Apple's campus.
Looks very reserved.
It's very tame. It's very tame.
We also didn't ask about the food.
No, that's true. However, there have been tweets coming in, hot takes on all the food.
Hot takes.
I think
CNET hot takes.
CNET hot takes. Hashtag hot takes on all the food. I saw Shara. If you want to follow CNET's senior writer on all things Apple, Shara Tipkin, she's been tweeting stuff about the food. Looks pretty tasty. Some yogurt parfaits there, a few little breakfast pastries. So I would be definitely down eating some of those.
All right. Let's go. We have some phone callers that have been waiting patiently. Again, let me just flash up that phone number if you guys guys and gals want to call in. That number is going to be 855-979-9489. We have a couple lines open, but I'm going to take this call. It's from the 916. Welcome to CNET Live. What's your name and where are you from? And let us know what you want to talk about today.
Hello?
Hey, what's up? What's your
Brian.
name? Hey, what's going on?
Alberto from Sacramento.
Sacktown, I know you. Sacktown and Backtown. What's up, Alberto?
Hey, what's up, Brian? Any last-minute stuff about any other things that Apple might include on the new MacBook Pros besides the toolbar?
Well, the latest rumors that we have, obviously, this is going to be their first significant redesign. So you have the Magic Toolbar capability. You have USB-C and Thunderbolt 3 rumored to be on this. So we're going to, at least according to the rumors, they're going to get rid of all the kind of the standard old school rectangular ports, potentially a thinner design, and then obviously boosted graphics. And processor-wise, we're leaning towards Skylake. We know Kaby Lake is out, but really the main benefits are going to come in Skylake. Kaby Lake is an incremental improvement on there, and Apple needs to make a jump, at least processor-wise. We saw what the Surface did, and they're using Skylake, and really Kaby Lake's not even ready to roll out as a full shipment of processors to manufacturers. So I think that is really what we expect to see. I'm really curious how this toolbar is going to actually work. I'm personally not in the market for a MacBook Pro, so I don't know if this is something that's going to be like, I need to upgrade or not. I think that's going to be one of those questions where, are they going to wow us enough with this toolbar, or will it be like, Go ahead.
Also, if like Apple, like were to open up like the developers for the toolbars, the developers to like add more features and functions to make it more like something that people will say, well, something I gotta have.
You know what I have to say to that, Alberto? Absolutely. Did you get that? Mama, did you get that one? Mama? No? Okay. She shouldn't. Mama's not even watching. All right. Hey, thanks for calling, Alberto. We appreciate it, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let's get some other calls in here real quick. From the 561. Welcome to CNET Live. This is Brian, Lexy, and Vanessa. How are you doing today?
Good. Thank you, Brian. How are you?
Good. If you could give us your name, where you're from, and then just fire away.
Sure. Alvaro Walton from West Palm Beach, Florida.
West Palm.
What's up, Alvaro?
What's up, West Palm Beach? Anyways, how can we help you? What do you want to talk about today?
Yes. Well, I was wondering if you could give me a bit of an insight as to the built-in dedicated graphics. I've had the late 2013 MacBook Pro 15-inch for the longest time, and I even went as far as to upgrading to the mid 2015. But unfortunately, ATI graphics is just not cutting it. And I understand, like, not to get into the whole detail of it, it was a business decision more than anything from what I understood. So I'm kind of hoping, crossing my fingers, do you think there might be NVIDIA back again?
So I can jump in on here initially. The rumors are that the new MacBook Pros are expected to roll out with AMD's Polaris graphics chip family, especially on the higher end model, on the 15-inch model. There haven't been rumblings yet of anything NVIDIA related. So quite honestly, I don't know if that's even going to show up or not. But as of the latest rumblings, people have said AMD's Polaris family will be a part of this upgrades. But again, we'll have to just wait and see.
It might be something like what Microsoft did with the Surfaces, where it's kind of a premium upgrade, an option. So maybe they don't roll out with the better graphics chip, but then maybe you can purchase it. It's an upgrade that you could purchase later.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that would be great. Like, if they were to do something like, okay, the $2,500 one comes with the AMD Polaris, but if you want to spend $3,500, and I'm just shooting it out there,
which you do,
we're willing to give you latest.
Sounds like you do.
He's like, if you happen to want to spend $3,500, like me.
I mean, I don't mind. Like, it's like a one-time purchase. It's like my work tool. It's the number one thing that I use on a daily basis. So, like, to me, money's no objectivity when it comes to this.
Ladies, are you paying attention? I can give you his phone number right now, like straight up. Do you need help? Do you want me to help you out with there, man? I can arrange something, you know. Anyways,
poor guy.
He's like, I'm good.
I just want a computer, man.
I just came to call to talk about computers, dude. All right, hey, thanks for calling for CNET Live. We appreciate it. All right.
Thank you so much, Brian.
All right, awesome.
See ya.
We're going to go to another call here, and then we'll talk more about some of the other things that we've heard. But let's go jump out over waiting patiently for 4 minutes out to the 863. Welcome to CNET Live. Let us know who you're on. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, guys. My name is Leo. I'm from Winter Haven.
Night. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Leo.
Hi, Leo.
What do you want to talk about today?
Good, guys. Yeah, I was just wondering, well, like the Mac, the iPhone, the Apple Watch, and the iPods and the iPads, do you think like the new MacBooks are going to have something even more special with the newer products that have come out?
Something special. Well, I mean, if you're Apple, the point of view that every single product has something special in it.
Maybe something magic, Lexi.
Something magic, something special. I mean, we heard the word courage used last time. It took courage to take out the headphone jack. So maybe this time we're thinking about Apple not necessarily adding things. It's about what they're removing and making our experience better with. So the reasoning behind removing the headphone jack was it took courage, and it was going to deliver better quality audio and a better experience overall. Brian's shaking his head.
I'll talk about that later. I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to let you talk.
We'll get to that. I mean, maybe that's what this is with the with the MacBook, at least from the rumors, we're looking at like a lot of the ports disappearing and then turning into USB-C. And so the world of adapters may be opening up in that respect. We've already seen them do it with the iPhone, so I would not be surprised if it happens again with the MacBook. So that's kind of my thinking. It's not necessarily what's being added to make it magic. It's being what's taken away to improve
Good
your
Lord.
experience.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
She drank the Kool-Aid. Guys, she drank the
She's not
Kool-Aid.
doing it too much.
No. I'm all for. I want a variety of ports. I love USB-C, but adapters, they're going to be the end of me. Seriously, I'm telling you.
Vanessa, any takes on that just overall?
Well, I'd have to agree with Lexy. I do miss some of the ports. I still use my SD card reader a lot, which
Oh yeah,
is going to disappear.
you know who's going to be rejoicing? All of the card reader companies that
Yes.
thought we're never going to sell another card reader again, and then
Yeah.
Apple goes, "Well, we're going to take out the SD card."
Well, and
We're gonna
especially
take it out.
especially on a MacBook Pro, which our last caller, I think Alvaro was saying, like he uses it for everything. This is almost a replacement to a desktop, almost. So you're buying it. You want to have those ports, and at this point, you're right. We're going to have to be switching up dongles and adapters, and kind of like the little adapter on the iPhone 7 that you love so much, Brian. So I understand it takes courage and why they're doing it, but it's going to be.
I got to
tough
say, like
transition.
right before this show, I was struggling with the internet on this PC.
No.
Not the
Yeah.
PC problem, but then I was like, maybe I'll get my MacBook in there, and I didn't have enough ports to do.
You don't
the
even got a
show.
dongle.
I
You
don't
need
got
a
a dongle,
dongle, man. You need a dongle. Okay.
So I went with the PC.
Okay.
Whoa,
Hold up.
whoa,
All right,
whoa.
ladies.
Poor Leo.
I'm gonna.
Rewind.
Let's talk right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So first
Leo,
of all,
Leo, you still on?
Yeah, I'm still
Leo,
Okay,
he's
cool,
here.
cool.
You're hanging out with. You're gonna talk to us more. Don't worry. Okay. So first up,
All right.
Apple courage. Okay. That is such a BS word. First of all, this new MacBook Pro, according to the images, there is no escape key on
Yes.
the freaking keyboard.
There's no escaping.
They've replaced that top line, okay, with this magic toolbar. So you're gonna tell me, son, that like, what is their new thing gonna? Is it gonna be courage to remove the escape key, or is it just plain stupidity? That is dumb. Like that's bad Apple territory, okay?
But
oh
you
my
can put
God.
your fingerprint.
I guess what? It's like the funny thing about that whole fingerprint thing is, yes, it's on your laptop. Yes, it's nice there. They've actually built OS 10 to use your phone
Yeah.
as a Touch ID
Yeah.
sensor already. So it's like, okay, fine, we're going to put that there. Okay, I get it. The other thing though is look at this whole situation around the headphone. Okay, they cannot take the headphone out of a MacBook Pro.
No,
Okay,
they
No,
cannot.
no,
they
no.
There's no
cannot
way.
do
No
this.
way.
If they do this,
You wouldn't
I'm
be
going-
surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised though, right? At the same time, everyone's
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't be surprised. You wouldn't be surprised, right? So that's a no. That is a no.
No.
Beyond that Apple iPhone 7 without the headphone jack. Okay, their whole thing was get AirPods. Their whole thing was these AirPods are going to shake things up.
Here we go.
Apple yesterday just said that we're delaying the AirPods and they did not give us a specific date. All right. They said they said, here, I even pulled this up because you got to love these corporate quotes. The early response to AirPods has been incredible. Really? I don't know what you're reading,
Incredible
dogs.
could mean many
Incredibly
things.
horrible. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't believe in shipping a product before it's ready. iPhone 7. And we need a little more time before AirPods are ready for our customers. Not ready. Okay. People that have seen reviews of the AirPods, even our reviewers themselves, they
just
say they
pictures.
work they actually all agree that the AirPods work well. We haven't actually heard of any fatal problems with it, but I'll tell you what the problem is with the AirPods, other than the fact that they look like doo-doo hanging out of your ear. Okay. The AirPod controls, you can only choose between two options. One option is activating Siri. Okay, that's all you can do with them when you touch them. The other one is you can choose it to pause and play a track. So you're telling me these new revolutionary headphones have no volume control, have no track skipping control
that's a big
forward
deal.
or backwards. So you have to go to your phone to do that. You have to tell Siri, turn down the volume. Are you kidding me? So whatever they do, whatever they're delaying, they better give me the same functionality as my current headphones on these AirPods before they do anything else.
Well,
And if they don't, I'm already not sold on them, but if they don't, it's just a stupid product.
Well, do you think it's as simple as something? It's going to be a software tweak? Is it going to have to be? They're going to have to re-engineer the entire hardware base. I mean, how is this going to happen?
If they add different gestures on it because it's touch based, that's what they should do.
It's going to be like a yawn. You're going to yawn to skip a track.
Like it has infrared sensors that can tell when it's in your ear or not, when one ear is in or not, or the other. You've got to tell me that if these are touch control headphones, that you can add additional controls.
Right
now that's what I call dead.
God.
He dead because he's wearing Apple AirPods.
My biggest issue, aside from the design of these AirPods, is I can hardly keep track of my phone, let alone these tiny little AirPods that you have to keep track of, and they're separate. So there's 2 chances to lose them. So, I mean, I know that they want to do completely
my earpods.
wireless. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Find my ear. Hey, you know what?
Find my
Someone gonna
AirPods,
do
yes.
it. New feature, dog. New feature.
That's got to be included. I can't even keep track of my phone, and it's 10 times bigger.
Leo, you sound like you're a fan of the AirPods.
No. I mean, I look at them. I'm like, $149. I mean, I could get me better headphones with that.
Yeah. It's
with
gonna
actually
be interesting.
controls on there, you know.
Okay, I'll give all the listeners and Leo a little inside scooper rooper. Like our headquarters, our actual office at CBS Interactive, 2 of the floors are allocated to a certain fruit company, and I've seen a couple people walk in with these AirPods. It looks embarrassing. It's like, what's in your ear? Like, what is in your ear, dude? So keep on roll. Like they're gonna delay. They need a lot. They need to do a lot on these things. Again, the tech inside it, the W1 chip is awesome. That I will never dispute. I have said that a billion times. But those AirPods delaying them like that, please, son, please. It's embarrassing.
Hey, Brian, in your opinion, do you think that Apple was just BSing about we don't have enough space to put a headphone jack on the iPhone anymore?
Yeah, you know why? I'll tell you why. Because look, they're gonna say that it created the ability to make their phone waterproof. Do you know how many phones are waterproof with a headphone jack? There's more. There's more than just the Samsung, Sony's phones from a couple years, as far as like a couple of years back. So, look, I mean, they can tell us what they want. The fact that they're trying to force us to do things differently with these headphones doesn't make sense. I travel a lot. When you have your phone and then you want to take out your headphone and there's no lightning connector on an airplane, that's annoying. Yeah. When you want to use another device that happens to be handy, that's annoying. So if you look at most people that have the iPhone 7, they're actually using the dongle. They're not using the de facto lightning headphone cables. Sometimes that dongle, I've lost one already. It pops off. It just created so many more issues than it's actually solved. That to me, that's exactly opposite of what Apple has been as a company. So you can move forward and give me these AirPods. Just don't take out the headphone jack for now. That's all you had to do. So that's where I stand on that, my man. Are you sorry to give you the 10-minute lecture?
We had a long rant there.
He's like, I had one question, guys.
We have an hour to fill. I felt like filling it with 10 minutes of yelling,
of ranting.
That's how what I felt.
It was worth it.
Welcome to the Brian Tong's therapy session.
This is real talk, man. Okay, hey Leo, thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it. Okay.
No problem, guys. You have a good day, all right, guys?
You too.
Awesome.
Thanks, Leo.
Leo just opened up a can of whoop. Yeah. That's what he did. Ladies, I do want to talk about another thing that we are expecting to see here and just kind of get your take, and we can talk about this as well. Apple TV reports, originally from USA Today, reports that Apple is planning today at this keynote to announce a new app for the Apple TV. Think of it as more like a TV guide app that's going to help you find content. Another report has said that Netflix will not be part of this, so content in Netflix won't be integrated with this. This is more catered to the TV networks that you subscribe through your cable service, but just to make it feel like a better discovery tool to find TV shows. Again, you will most likely have to pop in your credentials. Just wanted to get your takes on what do you think about just that idea?
I think it's an interesting idea, and the whole aspect of discovery. I mean, we've all experienced it. We're sitting in front of our TVs, and we're not watching a free-to-air broadcast. We're not watching the conventional channels. We're like, what do we watch on Netflix, Hulu, a bunch of other services? And having something that possibly would curate curate this for us is an interesting concept. I mean, we've seen so many, Apple's TV service has been, long rumored, long delayed, long everything. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I mean, Brian, obviously, you've had a lot of discussions around this purported TV service. I mean, do you think this is kind of like a stopgap in a way to kind of get...
That's exactly what that it seems like a stall because they've been delaying the actual network coming to the Apple TV for so long that they were like, well, we should give them something, but we can't give them this yet. And it does seem a little bit like they're stalling. And also with the they don't have the 4K compatibility yet. So it seems like this is low-hanging fruit that like you said, it could be interesting, the idea of having something catered for you, but at the same time it doesn't seem like a big step.
The problem though, thinking about the curation based around what you've already listened to or what you've already watched. I don't know about you guys, but I listen to a lot of music on streaming services, from Spotify to Google Play Music to Apple Music to absolutely everything. And the curation services really don't hit the mark. Based on what you listen to, Spotify I think comes closest to actually what I want to listen to. It's still not 100% there because algorithmically it's just, I don't know, there's just something about that human touch of someone actually curating it for you.
They can't read your mind.
Yeah, exactly. So it would be really interesting to see, because Apple Music obviously has a lot of, hand curated services. And those are okay, but they still don't hit the mark. So if it depends how this is going to actually be rolled out on the TV platform. Is it going to be something that's going, well, you watched, The Walking Dead and you watched Breaking Bad, therefore you're going to like Narcos or something like that. I mean,
hey, you just named me just now. Could you be my algorithm? Lexi, could you be my Apple TV?
I'll be your Apple TV.
Lexy TV, yo, it works. It works.
You brought it up, Brian. What do you think about it?
Okay.
Oh God! Here we go.
I'm not trying to explode here. I swear to you. But this whole TV Guide app to me is an admission that Apple failed to deliver a TV service.
Yep.
Apple, there were plenty of reports, and even before the reports came out, we had talked about it, how I just felt like because of how Apple rolls, they're very cocky. They have a lot of hubris. When they came in these meetings, I'm sure they asked for things that the networks were not willing to give up, pricing or whatnot. We've seen literally TV services from Sling and Sony, PlayStation, and now Google is working on their own called Unplugged. They are successful TV streaming services that have worked in partnership with the networks. Apple's claim is we have iTunes. We have all this credit card information. Join us. The TV networks are like, nah, we don't need to. So for Apple to create a discovery app, and, Apple has pivoted, that favorite word we hear in Silicon Valley, pivoted.
And politics.
Pivoted. Yeah, politics in Silicon Valley, without a doubt. Apple is now saying, you know what, at a recent Vanity Fair conference in San Francisco, Eddie Q, who is the head of their services, said, we think that finding content is really dumb right now. Your TV is dumb. So we feel we have a better way to do it. You're right. Voice search for channels, which you've seen on the Xfinity platform, on Amazon, coming to Google Home with Chromecast. That's all. You're right. Voice is there. Apple TV has voice search. But the bottom line is that they were not able to create a TV service that could have given them more revenue, another distribution channel for content, and another revenue stream. That is something, when you look historically, look at what Steve Jobs did with iTunes. That was a new revenue stream. Apple has not created any significant new revenue streams, and the Apple Watch is not one of them. And that's the one that they've put their most attention on, and it's a declining market. We'll see how it plays. The smartwatch market is not dead yet, but it's year 2 or 3, and the numbers are actually going down, by 50 to 60% across the industry. So to me, the TV Guide app is nice, but it's more, to me, a failure of them being able to create their own TV service that, quite honestly, a lot of people wanted. And, we're working on a video of showing people how to do their own kind of TV channel setup. There's some cool stuff out there through their Apple TV for people that want it. But I just think that it's another area where you're like, okay, what are you doing, Apple? What are you pushing that's new and innovative? And even if you're second or third place, you're still not pushing these things. It's a little mind-boggling.
It's interesting as well because, Apple's making a push into original programming, like commissioning a lot of sort of series and one-off specials and things like that. I mean, where is that all going to fit in? That was all kind of part of this integrated TV service somehow, somewhere. So I don't even know where this content is going to end up.
The Discovery app is going to suggest all that content for you.
Would you like to watch the Will I Am show?
Yes.
our 2 shows that we have available for you
Yes.
and nothing else on Apple TV, Planet of the Apps is it, and then what's
Gwyneth
the
Paltrow and
there's and then there's like the Dr. Dre
Dr.
bio
Dre, Dr. Dre.
you know, and then there's a Carpool Karaoke ripoff that will not feature James Corden, so it'll be totally boring. So you know, I mean, that's some great programming that you have out there.
The 3 options on the Discovery app.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Should we hit some phone calls? We're about 15 minutes away from
Let's
Apple's
do it.
actual keynote. Lexi will be stepping out. We do want to remind you that we do not have the rights to actually stream Apple's keynote. So Vanessa and I will do the play-by-play. We will come
The
back.
interpretation.
What was it?
The interpretation.
Yeah, thanks to our help of the live blog. We'll just kind of talk shop with you all. But let's just get to some of the phone calls to hear what you have to say. Someone has been waiting here for 21 minutes so patiently.
Oh, thank
I'm gonna
you
give
for
you
waiting.
round of applause. 647 is the area code. Welcome to CNET Live. Your name and where you're from.
I'm Jaden, and I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Toronto. What's up, Jaden? How you doing?
Good. I'm a huge fan of you. Like a huge, huge fan of you. I watch the Apple Bite every week. I love it.
Thank you. If I offended your parents for some of the things I've done, I apologize to them, but not to you.
No, it's fine.
How can we help you out? Thanks for calling so much, Jaden.
I just wanted to ask you, do you think they're gonna just discontinue the MacBook Airs and replace it with the MacBook, or are they gonna do an upgrade with that?
This is a great question,
Very good
Jaden.
question.
So reports have said, and they've kind of actually shifted. We're actually going to find out the true answer today. Initial reports said that Apple was going to discontinue the MacBook Air 11-inch and keep the MacBook Inch 13 Air. But then a recent report has now stated that Apple might introduce a MacBook Air 13, a MacBook 13 that is based on that super ultra slim design. The weird thing about that is, why would you have a 12-inch ultra slim and a 13-inch ultra slim? Is there really a value of just a 1-inch larger in size? Is there really value there?
I would say something, but
You can say something.
It's a minor, Brian.
My producer, yeah. Vanessa confirms it's a minor improvement in screen size. Anyways,
Moving on.
so we'll awkward. I'm actually completely normal. But the answer to that is we'll actually find out that answer today. So that is, for you, this is a great reason why you should watch the keynote and just kind of hang with it. So,
Are you in the market for a computer? A new MacBook?
Oh yeah. So I have like an old 2013 model, I think, and it's like the basic storage, 128. My phone has more storage than that, actually.
Jaden, true play. He's like, yeah, my phone's way more than that.
So Jaden, you have the MacBook Air then?
No, I have the Pro.
Oh, the Pro. So what would you want from this event? Would you want a really cool MacBook Pro or a really slim MacBook Air?
Oh, Pro. I go all Pro.
I'm with you.
Dude, I saw you throw your hands up when you said that. In my mind, you're like, I go all pro.
So
all
let me
pro.
ask you, what feature do you want to see most in this new MacBook Pro?
I don't know. I think the Magic Toolbar is like the main thing that I'm looking for.
All right.
We're down with that,
I think
Jaden.
you're gonna get it.
He wants touchscreen capability, which
but without
we already have on a PC.
Jaden, have you ever hoped? Did you ever wish one day that Apple might bring us a touchscreen laptop as well, or you don't really care about that? I'm just curious about your opinion.
No, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be cool if they did that like 2 or 3 years ago, like other companies?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not really crying.
Well, the good news is I think you're gonna get that Magic Tool bar. Box bar. Just kidding. I think you're gonna get your wish. So that's good news.
I would just like to pull one out for the MacBook Air right now, because it's really not going to get much of an upgrade if it exists and if the rumors come true. I mean, this is if anyone that's been watching the previous live shows of Apple coverage, and every time I've wished, come on, 13-inch MacBook Air with Retina screen. Come on, just give it, please. It's never going to happen. I'm pouring one out right now for the death of the MacBook Air. I'm so heartbroken to
I love
think about that. I love the 13-inch form factor. I love the size. I do want a Pro, but it's still a little bit too much and a
I
little
love
bit
the
too heavy.
price.
The price.
The price.
What about, but quite honestly, if they do go with this MacBook 13 ultra thin, it'll be kind of the next evolution of this. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, but I want
want
I want
ports.
ports. I want ports. I don't want one USB-C. I want 5 USB.
Oh, she wants ports.
I want ports. I want
She wants
SD card
ports.
reader. I want I want a Thunderbolt. I want all this stuff.
But also, like the 13-inch MacBook Air was $999, and there's no way that new MacBook 13-inch is going to be $999. You know this, so they're eliminating that price range, which I mean would draw a lot of consumers that weren't willing to spend over $1,000 on a computer.
I think ultimately there will be something that is a $999.
I hope so.
Even if it's a last gen that is still around, there's going to be something.
12-inch MacBook.
Yeah, there's going to be something. Yeah, exactly.
You know what would be crazy?
What's crazy, Jaden? Tell me what's crazy.
Well, if you have to have 2 dongles, one for the iPhone 7 and one for the MacBook.
Yes, now we're talking.
Yeah,
that would be ridiculous.
Exactly. That would just imagine like you're going to have more dongles than actual hardware.
Devices,
basically.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Apple, where dongles happen. That's where it's coming to now.
Yeah.
That's what it's coming to, man.
It's not going to be think different. It's going to be think dongle.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hoya! Ho! All right, Jaden. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Jaden.
Thank you.
Real quick, we're getting some pictures from inside the event.
Okay, so at least
Start
our
showing
editors
some
are
of that
inside.
on our live blog, live.cnet.com.
Live.cnet.com. Check it out. Right now, timestamp is 9:52 Pacific time. Apple's keynote expected to start approximately around 10 a.m. Again, we will be here talking about it, but if you want to watch, a lot of people sometimes watch the live stream while they listen to us. Our actual information comes out a little earlier than the live stream. So if you like our faces and our voices, stay with us. If you don't, I'm sorry. But
we didn't want you anyway.
Should we go hit the phone lines? The phone lines are completely locked in. All lines. Let's go take out our friend from the 702, waiting 22 minutes patiently. Your name, where you're from, and welcome to CNET Live.
Well, thank you. First of all, good morning, ladies, and then Beecham and Steven. What's going on, fellas? This is Calvin.
Calvin!
What's up?
I hear you, Calvin.
Up?
What's up? What's going on, man? What do you want to talk about?
Man, so first of all, I just want to talk about how we may have a courage issue with Apple. It'd be great if they had, some courage to innovate like we saw at Microsoft's event yesterday.
Woo! Nice. I like where
Keep
this
it
is
going.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Some courage to throw in some beats inside the box instead of these little whack things that they're trying to get us to buy. I mean, just a few things here and there.
Just a few.
Just a little thing.
Did you have any questions, or you kind of wanted to talk about just stuff in general as well?
Yeah, man. The Apple TV, this whole little guide thing, was kind of interesting in regards to what do you guys think is going to happen with that, and something like AT&T announced with this whole DirecTV Now thing. Do you think that they're going to try to incorporate guides and kind of make guides for apps like that?
So, what we've seen Apple do so far, and the formula that they've taken is they're basically treating an app on the Apple TV like a channel. And my assumption is that this TV guide is just basically going to curate all the apps in one place and use a single sign-on. We saw that feature for basically tvOS. They haven't released it yet, where we sign into, like, if you're on History Channel or AMC, you have to sign in every time using your cable credentials, and even stuff like HBO Go and Hulu and whatnot. The whole goal is that the iCloud, will store that, and so all you have to do is sign in with your Apple user, whatever, credentials, and all that stuff will then be unlocked, so you don't have to ever do that again. But I don't think that they're looking to make any specific app details, like you said, this AT&T one. They're going to let those people do it, and on top of that, it'll be curious to see if they even let that AT&T app on there. They do have the Sling TV app, but I don't know about a larger group like AT&T. I don't know if they're going to allow that app to be on there or not. And if it's on there already and I don't know, I apologize, because I don't know everything.
What?
we don't know.
It'll definitely be interesting.
Yeah, we don't.
I just didn't know if they were trying to do something like Xbox did. You know what I'm saying? When they made their little guide and whatnot, they tried to get into the whole TV realm of making their guides. I didn't know if that's what Apple was trying to do. It just threw me off a little bit, I guess, when I read it.
I think what's also interesting, just when you touch upon this digital TV guide, is the fact that, look, what's the most annoying thing to do with a TV guide? To search by station, number by number. Quite honestly, we search by shows now.
Yeah.
And so that is where things have to change. Like, I know what shows I like. I want to see related shows, but I don't care. Quite honestly, do we really care about the network that's putting it out there? No, we care about the content. So someone or others, right? Kind of like, it's quite honestly like how Netflix's layout is, because they are just a content producer and they throw it at us. Show us the shows and related stuff. And I'm sorry, networks, we got nothing but love for you because you helped make this happen. But I don't, yeah, and we're paying for y'all. Like, I don't really need to know about the network. I just need to know about the show. That's where I'm at with all that.
Exactly.
All right, Calvin.
I'm with you guys. Hey, I'll talk to you guys later.
Peace out. We're going to bang through the rest of these calls. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. All right. Okay, next call up. We're coming to us from the 512. 25 minutes dedicated.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for a great blog with great content today and prep for the announcements.
We appreciate it.
My
Thank you
name
so
is
much.
Rick from the live music capital of the world, Austin, Texas.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, Rick?
ACL.
Woo-hoo. Hello there.
I see you.
Hey, I want to use our time wisely. Okay, we're gonna pivot back to audio for a second.
Pivoting.
Nice. Nicely done.
You've been paying attention,
That's a
Rick.
common term, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a common term.
Where do you see the future of DSD audio processing? So there's a lot of ultra high res streaming services coming out now. The only thing missing in Apple's product line is DSD processing. What do you think that's going to? When do you think it's going to happen, and will we see it today? Thanks.
I don't know if we'll see it today. Beach, do you have any 2 cents on this?
I don't. I'm trying to think. I don't have any information on that at all.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna see it. The thing is that Apple, they tout their all digital connection through Lightning, but it doesn't mean it's gonna get that support either, right? So from a pro
great
standpoint,
audio, great video, and we just need to spice up the audio a little bit more to be current.
are you a content creator yourself with music and audio, or where do you stand with that?
I actually am an audio guy. I've been an audio guy for a lot of years. I've got to go to my Oppo if I want to do any decoding of ultra high res files, and I'd just like to see that in the original music people, and that was the iPod people.
Yeah.
We need it. Let's have it.
That's a very good point.
Look, your voice has been heard.
By us.
Let's make audio great again.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's make audio great
video
again.
great again.
Yes.
All right. Hey, thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it. I'm glad you got your 2 cents out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks so much.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rick.
Awesome. All right, let's take another call. We're at 9:58, so we're going to try and take this last call, and we'll see where we're at with the keynote after that, but we will keep you guys updated. We're getting to 732. What's going on? Welcome to CNET Live.
The name is Cash, calling from New Jersey. I'll make it short. But seeing as Microsoft completely went crazy yesterday with the professional market, with the professionals market as far as the pro users, why has Apple waited since 2013 for their professional computer, aka the Mac Pro, to get an update? That has been totally lacking, and I feel like Apple is losing that market share more and more, and do they even care anymore? They lost the enterprise market with the Xserve way back when. Now they're losing the professional market. What are they? Just a consumer company with Beats headphones for everybody?
Preach.
Pretty much.
Preach. Like, seriously.
Well, I think they didn't, for a really long time, they didn't have to, because they didn't have very viable competition, especially as we mentioned before in the creative market. And now they're seeing, oh shoot, we need to catch up. And maybe today they will, but at this point, like you mentioned, they are playing catch up. They're not in the forefront anymore. And they banked on the fact that they had this market for so long and they didn't have to upgrade as often as other companies. And now they're falling behind.
I'm going to jump in here real quick. There's a huge philosophical shift in how Apple is running the business from an execution standpoint, from basically a margins profit standpoint instead of innovation. And let's be honest, Tim Cook and all reports point to that the Apple Watch was his baby, okay? All the resources for Apple went towards the Apple Watch. A lot of other platforms were completely neglected, including the iPad. And, really the only two things that they've worked on is the iPhone and the Apple Watch. I know they're working on other stuff, don't get me wrong, but when I'm talking about focus, actual focus, they have not shown any love. Like a Pro machine, 3 years. Like I know where you're coming from. That's ridiculous. And in addition to that, they haven't addressed some of the issues that it actually has had. So they are showing us that they, quite honestly, I know they don't sell a bunch, but guess what? You have never sold the most amount of computers to a creative professional, those industries. It's not like you're going to sell the most, but by serving those industries and then having that spill over to the consumer side, that's where that happens. They are a consumer company right now. They're not focused entirely on the creatives, although we know that creatives use their products. So 100% behind you on that, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. And hopefully we get to have a good event.
Yes. And you know what? I hear that deep breath you took. Exhale with me. All right. Just kumbaya. Okay. Kumbaya. All right. Looks like is the Apple event. Have they started?
Like they've got the disclaimer up. It looks
Yep.
like it's starting.
Okay.
So you might as well start digging into the live blog and say thank you.
All right.
it started. Yep,
Thank
I
you
can
for
see the
everyone
screen.
that has just called us. What we're going to do right now is we're going to close the phone lines for now. And Apple looks like they've started kind of their intro video to the keynote. So we're going to switch over to CNET's live blog and give you the play-by-play. For everyone that was on the phone lines, we appreciate it, but we're going to switch those off. We'll jump back onto them at the end of the show. But thank you so much for participating and really, come on, you guys make the show what it is.
Thanks,
so,
guys. It was amazing. All right, I'm heading out of here if you're wondering where I'm going.
Sorry, that's me.
That was you.
That's
Yeah,
all right.
because because my computer's like plugged in and everything. Like that sometimes happens.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Scared me for a second.
Everyone's goodness.
Lexi's out. She can't stand the keynote, so she's leaving.
All right,
Thanks,
have fun.
Lexi.
Get some courage, guys. Get some courage. Let's see what
working on it.
I'm going
One
to take
toast.
my obsolete 13-inch MacBook Air downstairs and cry right now.
Pour some liquor on it.
Don't cry yet.
Pour some liquor on it.
Don't cry yet. There's still hope.
Yeah, and everyone at home, open 2 browsers.
Yeah.
You can have the Apple keynote in one browser and ours in the
That's
other.
what we're doing.
Wait. So you can watch us and Apple at the same time?
Please do it.
Mind blown.
Everybody
Let me do what you're telling me to do, because probably a good idea.
Here's Mr. Cook on stage.
Wait. Shocking.
So-
They're starting with a promotional video.
Well, yeah. So right now, according to our live blog, you can go to our cnet.com page. Of course, many of you are going to be watching the actual keynote, but the lights have dimmed, and we'll just let you know where we're at with all that. I need to update this bad boy.
Mr. Cook is on stage right now.
Here we go. Yes, he's basically saying, welcome back to the Apple campus. I could not be prouder to share that video with you this morning. It was kind of just establishing Apple everywhere. We all know that. Our teams work so incredibly hard to make all of our products accessible to everyone. Today, we're launching a new accessibility website. I can't tell you how many times we do this keynote, and we always will get some sort of questions, or even in our live show, our Apple by podcasts, about accessibility features and how or what is Apple doing. Arguably, they are one of the best companies when it comes to features on the phone, but obviously they still have more to go. So they have created an actual version of their website that is with accessibility features. They say they hope this becomes a great resource that people can use all over the world. And it's incredibly humbling to see the things that people do with their products every day.
I think so. Dan Ackerman is saying that it's refreshing to see him start with this and not with a bunch of numbers as he usually does, which I agree with.
Well, you know why? Because their numbers were down.
That's true. You just found out 2 days ago.
Apple's earnings. Look, Apple still brings in something ridiculous like $100 million per day.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's that, and when you put that in perspective, that's a large number. But their overall revenue dropped. So their iPhone sales, their iPhone sales have dropped. Yeah. So we all know this, right? So the good way to kind of cover up those blemishes is to announce new products like in just a couple days. So right now he is addressing the iPhone 7 last month, the classic quote, "People are loving it." Using a quote no longer from Walt Mossberg, using an AnandTech quote, "Unparalleled and a cut above anything else in the industry."
Except for the Xiaomi Mi Mix.
Yeah, which if you haven't seen that, look up MIX. It's basically the rumored idea of what the new next gen iPhone will appear to look like. So
bezel free, guys. It's pretty impressive.
Bezzy free.
Except, Brian, why is it only available in China?
Because that's how we roll. Xiaomi is Chinese. We can go take a trip out there if we want to.
Let's do it. It's worth it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Their talking more, just using quotes about the actual phone. The customer response has been very strong. iPhone 7 makes you do things every day so much better, including taking photos. Right now, they're showcasing some of those photos that have been taken with the iPhone, and we know like billboards are plastered everywhere.
Right.
Have you ever wanted one of your photos? I guess you'd want your dog on it. I know.
Yeah, I would on the billboards. I mean, it's a secret dream of mine. Not gonna lie.
Who wouldn't want their picture on the billboard? The thing though is like a while ago they said that Apple basically they have people who just run through Flickr and then they send an email to those people to be like, oh, can we use your picture?
Not
so it's not
Instagram.
No, none of that IG. They're
I've been tagging all my pictures, Brian.
Apple?
Shot on iPhone 7.
I'm sorry it didn't work out. I'm sorry it didn't work out. It didn't work out.
You just told me Santa Claus doesn't exist. No, I should go on Flickr is what I should do.
Yeah, and then tag it with shot on iPhone 7. And then they'll find it. They'll totally find it that way.
I'm sure they will.
They continue to talk about this is the best camera, the best photo experience we've made. Were you going to say something right there?
I mean, let's caveat this with the Pixel won at the shootout. So Google now has the best camera in the market.
Not only was it tested by DxOMark, which has kind of been one of those independent groups that have rated the quality of the phone, everyone that has stacked them up together will attest to the fact that it handles overall not only just regular pictures, low light pictures. What else? What other things do you find?
The low light was the most impressive to me, especially because it doesn't have that optical image stabilization, but it has more of a digital.
The electronic one.
Yeah, the electronic. But surprisingly, the video on the iPhone is still better than on the Pixel, but the photographs not as much.
Excellent. Yeah, they're right now they're still transitioning about just the overall state of what's going on. They're talking about iPhone 7 powered by iOS 10, using quotes from different websites that we've never seen them use before. Pocket Lint getting some love. Where's the CNET quote at? I'm gonna make one up. Apple is the greatest company that makes the greatest products. -CNET.
-CNET.
They'll use that if you say that.
Yeah, exactly. Except we haven't been saying that, which is why they're not using it.
We can't. Yeah. Right now, they're also talking about just the overall upgrade path for users. Right now, 60% of iOS users are on iOS 10, 32% are on iOS 9, and 8% are on earlier phones. So they just want to let you know that, get on board, adopt, do what we do.
They're talking about that new depth effect update on 10.1, I believe.
Yes. Here's the question I had to ask you. Overall, we know that they advertise it just for faces, but it does work on other things.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you feel? I know the Pixel has their blur effect. It's not the same thing by any means, but overall, how talk about the process. I mean, just from your experience. Easy, sometimes a little finicky. What did you think?
So I think that the iPhone does it right. Obviously, it's not at the level of a DSLR quite yet. You can still see, especially around the edges, that it's
sometimes
pixelized.
Like halo-y even, like we're trying to make the difference between a line and the subject in the background.
And especially on fur or hair when you're photographing animals, it doesn't decipher the lines very well. But compared to the Pixel, it's miles ahead at this point because it has that dual camera.
Yep.
So it has the dual information that it's capturing. So it's better at deciphering that it uses software and hardware, whereas the Pixel only uses software. And so the Pixel really bombs at the blur effect.
The question that I had for you when you say hair, I mean, we know that it's technically, they say it's made for portraits. Let's pretend we don't talk about other items. Just for portraits overall, does it still have issues with the hair from your experience?
Yeah. It does.
Like my hair, that's kind of important.
We should try it on your hair because it does have a little bit of an issue, like I said, with just fine lines around the borders of subjects. So you can definitely tell still that it's not a DSLR, that soft effect, but if you compare it against the Pixel, on the other hand, it's way, way, way better.
Yeah. We're going to jump into following the keynote a little more. They're talking about, some of the other features of iOS 10. This week, Apple Pay kicked off in Japan. We had talked about how that supports their Felica technology and platform out there. It also supports a few others. They kind of have their own digital wallet service over in Japan as well. So they talked about how that's also getting support. They're bringing transit in the Maps app with iOS 10, which was there a while ago and then not. And they're also addressing the Apple Watch according to them, has gotten off to an amazing start. WatchOS 3 makes the experience so much simpler and faster. I 100% agree with it because that's the only reason why I'm wearing my Apple Watch. And Apple, or Tim Cook is saying, as you know, we designed the Apple Watch to be the ultimate device for the healthy life. I could go off on aspects of the Apple Watch, but I'm going to wait till maybe later in the post show if it's proper. There are also...
You mean the post show is going to be our therapy session?
It could be.
to rant about what we didn't like?
It could be. Apple Watch Nike Plus Edition, which has different wristbands, also some Nike watch faces, and is plugged into some of more Nike's services. That's coming out tomorrow. That is the 28th of October. So that'll be available then. And first thing that Tim Cook is going to start with new products is the Apple TV.
There
so
we go.
let's just kind of hang. We can look at some of the pictures that they have up there, and we'll find out what they have to say about it. He says, we believe the future of TV is apps.
Here we go. You just called it a couple minutes ago.
Yeah,
We're
I mean,
gonna get a Discovery app.
It's from reading things on the internet.
Is it from reading?
There's this tool called the internet that I use to find out information.
Mind-blowing.
I can't remember. There's this crazy search engine. I can't even remember what it's called. But I don't know. I just used it.
Goggles?
Yeah, I just used it a couple times.
Yeah.
Opera.
He says our developers now have access to the biggest screen in your home. And in just a year, we now have 8,000 apps, and they're across every category from lifestyle to food. So they're showing a panel of just all the amazing apps here.
So they're setting it up to have one app for everything.
Yeah, to help you curate it better.
Yeah.
Over 2,000 games. The new games keep coming. There's a very popular one coming before the end of the year, and that is Minecraft. Minecraft. That'll be interesting because I see my niece and nephews on it on the iPad all the time, but are they going to use the little touch remote to navigate it? We'll see. I like the fact that the new Apple TV has a new interface, but I don't really use it any different than I did before.
Do you use the voice commands at all?
No, I actually don't.
Really?
I did just to play around with it,
Yeah.
but because I only watch a few things on it, basically
Yeah.
Netflix and a couple shows that I purchase because I just want them without ads. It sounds bad, but I do. I kind of have specific things that I go to on it.
And do you find that you at least lose this remote a little bit less than the old one?
I mean, I just keep it in the same place.
Yeah.
The silver one, I don't know. I just kind of keep my remote in the same place.
Really? I have such a challenge with the silver remote, which ends up like in the weirdest places.
Like
my couch, but it's always in my couch. My couch. Where is your mind?
I know it wasn't where my mind was. Like, well, like where? What's weird to you?
No, it's like just like different places inside my couch, but I have to literally pull it apart to find it because it's so tiny. That's my issue.
Here we go. They're bringing up the product manager at Twitter upstage for a demo. A lot of what we believe is that they're live streaming from Twitter directly onto the Apple TV. They're going to show, the product manager said, today we're going to show the future of video made possible by the power of Twitter and Apple TV. And this is really interesting. I've always been like a huge fan, and I do feel like the Apple TV is, has the chance to be a platform for this if they push hard enough. Live, really super uber engagement television, right? Show tweets, answer polls, watch stuff while it's happening. There's still, your normal TV through your cable operator set-top box isn't made for that. The Apple TV is. I don't know if you ever saw their their home shopping network app, but you could watch it, buy things on the spot, but at least interact real time without going anywhere else. And I do feel like the Apple TV has that potential, but no one's doing it yet.
Seems like they might be doing it now.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. A lot of people, most people at this point are watching with that secondary screen. I always have my phone open on Twitter, especially right now with the political arena.
Totally.
for the commentary and the comedy, I have my secondary screen open, usually on Twitter. So it's good that they're combining both and making it accessible on one screen.
The other issue here is they are actually showing what we've talked about, a Twitter stream alongside the video if you choose to watch it. So it'll be, tweets from athletes / sports websites or publications. They say here that the tweets also include video replays and periscopes from different vantage points. I don't want to watch someone's handheld periscope at the game. No. I don't care about that.
No.
But they're talking about how I do as a first gen thing. This is going to take time for it to figure itself out, because really TV, the way that we interact with our TV in 5 years is going to be completely different than we do now. It's getting there. It's getting there with platforms like this. But that's what I've always wanted. Like, I just love like
Yeah.
if you're someone who likes watching live events, like you said, for you it's the debates and political stuff. Or someone who watches sports or what other things,
The Voice.
The Voice, yeah. Like remember the days of texting your vote will
Yeah.
eventually be replaced. Eventually, it'll be part of
Right.
it. But if you could just do it directly through your TV, that would be cool. That'd be
Yeah.
super cool.
It's interesting because it's hard now for us to think about what live events do we actually watch. We were a society of live events all the time, and now if it's not on demand, I'm not going to watch it unless
Yeah.
it's. I mean, the only benefit of watching it live for me and not recording something like the debates is because of Twitter. Is because I want the live commentary.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like second nature, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Twitter, who has a problem of being profitable, although today in their quarterly earnings they were profitable, but the reports are that they're like cutting 9% of their staff. Twitter has always had this perception of they're not making money,
Yeah.
and they're part of the real time conversation. They have to figure out how to monetize that better. But this is one of those ways of creating platforms and plugging this stuff in like that. So, Apple, Tim Cook is back on stage. Twitter's product manager has left, and he's just talking about how this is a great example of the power of Apple TV and the way that apps are changing television. I do agree with that. So he's also talking about how we've made search easy across your apps, but universal search was just the beginning. We want Apple to be the one place to access all of your television, really trying to bring this unified TV experience. So today we're announcing a new app. We simply call it TV.
No.
Oh, sorry.
What?
I thought you were gonna say it with me.
No, I thought it was going to be Discover. What?
So it's their app is called TV. It'll completely change how you watch TV with your Apple
TV. Okay.
So the Jen Fowles, senior designer on Apple TV, is going to come up and show a demo of this new TV app. And again, at least I'm not watching it in motion. I do get to peek at this of the stream, but we want to follow our real-time blog, which does get a little peek ahead. So they're going to start up the actual app, and it looks like it can rest on that kind of toolbar, the top toolbar. You start it up in Watch Now, where the focus is stuff that's coming up next. It has all the TV shows that you're currently watching across all of your apps. So it appears that it's able to dig into the info of, what's that show you watch on the AMC app? What's that show you might watch on the ABC app? Whatever it is, that it populates that. So for example, she says, I bought Sing Street on iTunes. I didn't finish watching it. Up next lets me continue from where I left off. It just places that content right at the forefront and at the top. Okay.
This is not if you rent, because if you rent, it's...
Look at this interface here. That looks very Netflixy to me. If you see the big artwork of the show that you're looking at, and then you see the shows below it that are related, or things that you have, that's like we talked about before the show. Bring us something that's more like that interface. For the shows I'm currently watching, she says, like Big Bang Theory on CBS, the Up Next app shows me when the next episode is available, and they're kind of showing more details, drilling in that shot with the Deadpool and the Mindy Project that kind of gives you some information about these shows.
And what I'm not seeing is exactly what you mentioned, which is the network information. It looks like it's kind of this unified thing that just focuses on content as
all the shows, right?
Yeah. It doesn't mention, I mean, I don't see much about, I guess, just the logo, but not about the network. It's about the show.
Which is
what
it should be.
Looks like it's categories, TV, movies.
Yep.
And it's a good look. The networks can put their little logo on these little still art pieces. That's all you need. Like they got to get past themselves and be like, it's about the show and nothing else.
Which is great, because now there's no real brand loyalty when it comes to networks, and it really becomes about the content, which is what it should be, what it was before, and it stopped being so because of these networks who got more money, and now Netflix and Amazon and Hulu have completely eradicated it and brought it back to the content, which I appreciate.
100% agree. She's talking about also, since I'm watching the HBO Now, pressing the menu takes me to show details within the app. She can get back to the TV just by pressing the TV button. So that's Watch Now, really the best place to continue watching and browsing. This also TV app is hooked to your iTunes purchases and rentals in one place. Now, why this is good is because currently TV shows and movies are separate tiles or separate apps within it. So by combining those, pretty much saying, okay, one of your tabs is Watch Now, the other tab is called Library. That is your library of purchased content. And yes, you can still see its TV shows and movies, but again, it used to be separate apps. That's like, it was actually annoying to, okay, I'm going to go to my TV shows, I'm going to go to my movies. I just want to see all my content in one place.
Yeah.
I don't think that people necessarily care about the distinction between TV show and movie. They just want to watch stuff that they like.
Right.
Like, I get it. Oh, I want to watch a movie, or I'm watching a movie, but you just want to watch something.
On demand.
Yeah, on demand too.
Well, I guess what bothers me a little bit is when was the last time you purchased a movie?
Oh, so honestly, I purchased a lot of movies. But I'm old school, and I admit that. I'm the guy who still buys the Blu-ray with the digital download, because I care about seeing the best fidelity of some of these, over the top visual spectacular movies. Quite honestly, on a TV, Guardians of the Galaxy might be one of the best movies to watch, just from pure Blu-ray, because of the colors and the imagery. So I care about that. Even the Martian, that was a great movie to watch.
What TV do you have?
I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay.
It's not it's on, for the record, it's not a new TV, and it's not a 4K TV.
Okay.
I'm not there yet. It costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
But I'm happy with I have a Panasonic Plasma from back in the days.
Nice.
Like when Plasma was the ish. But I'm happy with look, I don't need a 4K TV anytime soon. They're also showing the TV app specifically on the iPad, with a similar interface, showing the curated content, showing how it's, miniaturized for this iPad screen, also using Siri integration to look for content. It also knows exactly which episode you're on and picks up where you left off. So they're showing an example if you're watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and you find that, it'll take you to your most recent episode, which is nice. So, and again, we talked about no mention of Netflix. So Netflix content is not integrated into this app. They're keeping it separate.
Why do you think they did that?
Well, I think two reasons. One of it is, if I'm Netflix, I've established such a brand that are people going to not watch my stuff because I'm separate from it? And on top of that, they might have just not signed look, actually, I don't even think there's any revenues being shared by Apple making this app. They're just curating this, but Apple is focusing more on these TV network apps than they are for a content provider app.
But they did have HBO on there.
TV network.
TV network, true.
Yeah.
Hulu?
They do have Hulu.
Do they have Hulu content in there?
They do have Hulu.
That's good.
You're right. They're still going to watch Netflix, but I think it's a mistake on their part, because 60% of the content I watch, at least, is on Netflix.
Yeah, most people, a lot. Netflix is spending a lot of money to get our attention, and it's working. It's straight up, when you talk about content is king, it's straight up working. So
CBSN News.
CBS.
Oh yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out CBSN.
So there's a live option on this as well, for if you like watching the live events, as we had just mentioned, which I don't know how many people, I guess the only time I would watch live news is if there is something breaking at at that moment, like earthquake in San Francisco, and you want to see what's going on. But other than that, it's predominantly sports events, and that's obviously right now politics, but not a lot of live event, not a lot of reasons to watch live at this point. But
sports is the biggest reason.
Yeah, exactly. And there's still so many issues with rights. With sports.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Well, we've been seeing Twitter make a shift. Like they have the PGA Tour now and NFL on Thursdays. So I think that's awesome. There's a shift going towards that.
Yeah,
it's
live streaming all sports.
Like this is all about discovery, and we talked about how Eddie Q said, "Oh, finding stuff you want is so dated." Look, he was basically alluding to the fact that in his mind, Apple's going to do it a lot better.
Yeah.
This is Apple's plan. It looks nice. I'm not going to say it's anything revolutionary per se, but it is nice. So they've just wrapped up. Apple TV is the best place to watch TV shows, movies, sports, and more.
Which is not, you wouldn't probably still not watch sports.
I still watch sports live on TV networks. No matter what, the streaming experience can be good, but sometimes you get a few hiccups, and also
it'll probably be behind.
It's always like about a minute behind.
Yeah.
And when it's behind,
you hear the cheers from the bar,
dude.
and you already know what happened.
You totally
or
do.
your neighbor's house.
Exactly, and you're like, damn it.
So Tim Cook back on stage. And again, the this TV app is available on the iPhone, the iPad, and your Apple TV. Cook says he's excited about the new TV for Apple TV. That's just horrible.
That is
just
horrible.
why'd you do that?
Why?
Just call it Watch. What if you
Right.
called it like or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just don't call it TV.
I thought they were going to call it Discover.
No. Discover.
Discover.
Available December, starting in the United States. So all of our friends watching from different countries. We had Jaden out in Canada, Toronto. It's only going to be available in the U.S. by the end of this year, and obviously they will roll that out. But again, it comes down to TV rights, content rights. It's a lot trickier when you talk about internationally, and they have to lock that stuff in.
So is it just going to be an app that pops up on your main interface
Most
at this
likely,
point?
most likely, or yeah, at least on the iPad and iPhone, you might have to download it.
Yeah.
Actually, it'll probably be a download. I don't know if they'll force it in.
Or like a software update to the Apple TV?
I think they might just force it on there,
Yeah.
like with the software update, right? Like, oh, here it is. So we're going to transition over here now. They're going to talk about the Mac. Tim Cook says the next thing we'd like to talk about is the Mac. It's more than a product to us. It's a testament to everything we do and everything we create at Apple. That's why they didn't update some of them in 3, 4, 2 years.
It's a testament.
It's a testament. Look, the MacBook Pro, at least in the street and on the wild, or just the MacBook line, is the computer you see the most everywhere.
Right.
At least if you do just kind of the real world sniff test.
I like how he's saying the Mac is so incredibly important to us. Is it? Is it?
Well, we'll find out. We continue to push the Mac experience forward with MacOS. The world's creative force. This is a funny line that he had to put in here. The world's creative forces use the Mac to push the world forward. And that is true today. Let's just say today.
Today, not tomorrow.
We don't know how it's going to play out. But, and I know that a lot of you creatives that are watching, you're not going to abandon your Mac all of a sudden, but there's no way that they can't be doing a little side eye and be like, oh, look at what Microsoft is doing over there.
You're starting to get that wondering eye
It's
after
true.
a relationship starts to go south or stale. I'm just saying.
I'm going to keep on reading this blog. This year, they said we launched the best version yet of macOS Sierra. iCloud Drive on the Mac makes files available to any other Mac. That is nice. The weird thing about it is I still use Dropbox because I'm used to Dropbox.
Yes.
Like
It's so easy.
And I get
like the easiest thing to use.
Yeah, it is, and it works on every platform. So, and I know I'm just saying that so many people are used to Dropbox. I don't know how many people are actually going to be actively using the cloud drive. I'm sure there will be, but again, Dropbox, son. Hundreds of thousands of websites are now offering their customers Apple Pay. You can shop with your Mac, and then with a click, tap to complete your purchase. He's talking about what's going on there. Siri is available on all platforms, including the Mac. We're excited about things you can do with macOS Sierra. The experience just keeps getting better and better. This is also interesting because I don't know if he's going to have someone else talk about the actual specs of the MacBook and MacBook Pro, because a lot of times he just hands it over.
I think he's just setting it up at this point.
Yeah. This week happens to be a huge week in the history of the Mac and the history of Apple. This week marks the 25th anniversary of our very first notebook.
Bringing that history.
Man, I feel old now.
It was on October 25 of 1991 that Apple unveiled its first PowerBook. Okay, we didn't talk about
Dude,
this.
this thing's awesome.
Yeah. This thing was dope.
Look at that.
With the trackball.
Oh, yeah, that was
the
small,
first
too.
trackball
That's so
in
money.
a.
On a laptop, I think
Yeah,
at the time.
exactly.
If I recall right.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't even care what they do here today. Just give me a black MacBook. Like Trip,
Yeah,
that was
straight
one of
up.
my, when they released the consumer MacBook, my first. Well, I had other like iBooks and stuff, but you got to go black. I don't need no jet black. I'm just talking about like slate matte black. If they make one, it'll just make me happy. I'm not gonna buy it right now.
It would just make you happy, but you wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, I would just be like, dude, just do something different already.
Well,
like
they went gold with the MacBook, with the
Oh,
regular
yeah.
MacBook.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe this will follow the trend of the phones.
Yeah.
Maybe it's wishful thinking. At
They're
this
like,
point.
let's go rose gold. Let's go rose gold already.
Oh.
An all rose gold MacBook Pro Retina.
The sad thing is, I would buy that.
I'm not saying it's sad. I actually think it's a dope color. So they're showcasing the history. The PowerBook defined the modern notebook, first portable that featured the keyboard forward design. A lot of people take it for granted. It's when they say keyboard forward, it was the first laptop where it created space for your wrists. So think about that. Like that. It's so taken for granted
I
now,
know.
right? Like that's just normal.
Engineering genius right there.
That's just normal.
Totally.
The first trackpad, the first notebook with built-in Wi-Fi. Oh, now they're talking about the history. They're going over to the
MacBook Pro.
Yeah, or I think they're going to the MacBook Pro. They're showing off
and the
the
first
MacBook
Retina
Air.
display in a notebook. I think
There's supposed to be MacBook Pro Retina
MacBook,
right now.
yeah.
I think our blog's jumping around right now. So,
Which I have.
We jumped very quickly from that first notebook to the MacBook Pro.
He
right now, he's going to show us a video. He says, for 25 years, we've been defining and redefining what a notebook is and what it can do. Today, we're going to do it again. All right,
There we
Apple.
go.
So he's going to step off stage and we'll just kind of talk about it. They first show the original PowerBook that they're talking about.
It's a trip down memory lane, Brian.
It's cool. I like it. Hello again. That's the PowerBook G3. The clamshell. I edited my first demo reel on that clamshell iBook.
What?
Now they're showing the MacBook Pro G4. That helped me get a job, y'all. The MacBook polycarbonate edition. They're showing us the manila envelope MacBook Air, the classic. And then we're getting to finally the MacBook Pro with the Retina screen.
Which one's your favorite at this point?
I don't know. The MacBook Air was more sentimental to me. They're showing off the MacBook Ultra Thin, and now they're going to the new MacBook Pro with the OLED touch bar. They're showing emojis scrolling across it. They're showing photo correction. They're showing just how it is showing different functionality on this magic toolbar. People are clapping, and it's coming back to them. So we'll go back to our live blog. I was just kind of doing play-by-play with the video to be able to talk about it as it's happening. It looked cool. I mean, again, it's nice. We have seen a morphine type touch bar on Razer laptops, but not like this. That is, it was showcasing like your photo gallery on it so that you could scroll through it.
I like the editing tools for video that it showed, because at this point, editing video on a laptop is pretty tedious because you have to memorize those shortcuts on the keyboard, so it will be nice.
I like have you seen those keyboard things where you put like this like overlay?
Yeah,
and it's like
but even still, though, if you have that one bar that shows you all the commands for your app, for your editing app.
It's nice. I just think that most, I like the custom keyboards that are all color coded for video editing.
Yeah.
Those are like pretty money. So they're describing the new Apple MacBook Pro right now. It has a whole new design made of aluminum,
Space gray,
metal on all sides,
space gray, baby.
13-inch and 15-inch, silver and space gray. So that's that deeper color.
There you go.
Simply the thinnest and lightest MacBook Pro we've ever made. We've heard they were going to be thinner.
How much is lightest though? Are they mentioning?
They're not talking about specific specs. Dan Ackerman says these images make the space gray look very dark and bold, reminiscent of the classic black MacBook.
They heard your prayers, Brian.
They're going to start with a 13-inch MacBook Pro. It is 14.9 millimeters thin versus 18 compared to the old. That's 17% thinner. It's smaller too in volume by 23%. It weighs less. 3 pounds, almost half a pound less than the previous version. That has to do with the thinning. It's absolutely a stunning, beautiful notebook. It looks quite thin and quite nice. Dan Ackerman, for perspective, says everyone is slimming down from 18 millimeters to 14.9. It's still far shot from the slimmest high-end Windows laptop, which are now diving at just under 10 millimeters now. The new 15-inch will be 15.5 millimeters thick. Okay, versus 18. So it's a little thicker than the 13, but 14% thinner.
And
smaller footprint at 20% smaller. 4 pounds. Again, half a pound less than the previous 15-inch MacBook Pro.
That's not a lot, though, considering
half a pound's a lot, actually.
Considering how thin and light the MacBook is, which is I believe it's 2.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, Ness. I wouldn't compare it to the MacBook because the MacBook is really a severely underpowered laptop compared to the Pro. So that's the only reason why, to me, just taking half a pound off of the current MacBook Pro is going to be a bigger deal. Like, I just couldn't compare it to that guy. It's super underpowered,
Yeah.
So
but I have the Retina MacBook Pro right now, and it's 4.5 pounds, and I don't bring it to work because it is so much heavier.
Is the 15-incher you mean?
It's the 15-incher.
It is heavier.
4.5 inch. And I have the MacBook Air, and I rarely ever take my MacBook Pro out of the house.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
It's heavy, but it's still mobile enough. They're talking about there's a new trackpad, a Force Touch trackpad that is twice the size of the previous generation. They call it this really state-of-the-art and best trackpad they've ever made, with kind of the touch gestures and things of that nature. They also have the keyboard, which is using the butterfly mechanism that was stolen by the 12-inch MacBook. This is a thinner, low-profile keyboard. Also, the responsiveness and kind of the accuracy that they talk about with this new kind of butterfly design. If you guys look it up, guys and gals, look it up, you can see what it does. And now they really want to talk about this touch bar. They haven't officially said the name of it yet, but rumors point to it being trademarked as the Magic Toolbar. So we're gonna see what this is like.
And there is an escape button, but is that on the toolbar?
Yeah.
It's not a physical button.
It's not a physical button. Dan Ackerman just wanted to chime in about that keyboard. It's a lot thinner and it feels different. And I can tell you it does feel different, and not everyone's going to like the new butterfly keyboard even though this MacBook Pro is thinner. Like, it just feels different on the MacBook.
It's what I'm still wanting to see is how thin the bezels are.
There still should be bezels based on what we've seen, and maybe we'll find out. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't talk about that. But just back to the toolbar, they're talking about how they've mapped other function keys on their volume and brightness. It allows them to do they're talking about kind of the function keys as their history, but they're trying to say, oh, our team is taking on the challenge to move forward. What if we got rid of them? What they've done is truly remarkable. What it looks like, according to our insiders there, is that it is a multi-touch. The touch bar itself is multi-touch, and they're calling it officially just touch bar.
Touch bar.
No magic, just touch bar.
All right.
It responds to your gestures and taps. It makes things incredibly easy to use.
What does the heart button do?
It must be if it's related to a social site. Yeah, it's like, I bet you it's a like. Or you know what it is? It's probably your iPhotos. And if you have favorites, you can touch them so it organizes them into a specific folder. So goodbye function row, hello touch bar.
They were big on the touch, 3D touch bar.
Yeah, I mean, everything's touch now, so
except for their screen.
Except for the screen.
Yeah.
Except for that screen.
That screen, no.
That's so...
Oh, look, this is the first time we're seeing a little bit of the outline of the bezels, and they do look a lot thinner than in the previous MacBook Pro.
Yeah, they look a little bit. I can't super tell. So, but it does look a little thinner.
In our blog, yeah, it does.
Here we go. This is cool. The touch bar adapts to whatever software you're using. In this case, we're in Safari. Now the touch bar shows your favorite websites.
Nice.
That's cool.
And
so they're
that
easily
search
accessible
bar too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Once you're there, it changes again to show like whatever you're using. Now the touch bar is showing favorite websites. It changes and shows you a search field and a back button. It goes beyond specific application specifics. Touch bar can change on the fly, bookmark icons in Safari, photo tools in Photos. And since it's near the keyboard, it's also really helpful as you're typing. So it'll do a quick type suggestions according to this.
Autocorrect.
Yeah.
I don't know how much you want to use that.
Exactly. I don't know.
Next to the touch bar is another technology up in the top right corner, which we've believed to seen is the Touch ID sensor. Touch ID on the Mac for the very first time.
Also rumored.
Now you can log into your Mac with your fingerprint. It's integrated right where it belongs with the power button. Is it?
So will you have to scan your finger again, or will it just take the information from your iPhone that you've already scanned and use that? That's a question.
Like, will you have? My assumption is you'll have to at least redo the process.
Yeah.
Just because it's specific to the hardware. Right? I mean, they wouldn't. Just from a privacy standpoint, they wouldn't want someone to be able to be like, oh yeah, I'll just take someone's phone and then just immediately, just without even having to put my new fingerprint down, just unlock their Mac with it, right? But we'll see. I do like how colorful it looks like in these pictures. It looks very vibrant, but again, we've seen something similar like this in the Razer gaming laptops. The actual keyboard is supported, but the actual Touch ID chip is the T1 chip.
Emoji keyboard right there.
Emoji. So this chip includes a secure enclave, so now you can do secure purchases with your finger right on the MacBook Pro. Craig Federighi is going to come on stage and demo this new touch bar for the MacBook Pro.
Yeah, this is a lot of what we expected, to be honest. Not surprised quite yet, except for that change of name. Kind of like the Magic Touch. Magic Touch.
They're like they're trying to simplify things even more. Their TV app, the touch bar. All right, so Craig Federighi on stage, the man with the master hair. Getting started on your Mac has never been easier. Rest your finger on Touch ID, and you're instantly in your Mac. You'll see system controls. You'll be relieved to see they're all there. So we're talking about the brightness, the playback functions, literally everything that you see on your function bar right now, that's there right when you first log into your computer.
I don't know if you were watching the video, but he just pulled like a curtain above and revealed them.
It looks really cool in action. Like, it does look cool in action. Again, I'm not going to rush to get a new laptop because of it, but I think when I can upgrade my work laptop,
when is that
hint in 3 years.
I was just thinking, when is that?
I think I've had my work laptop for like 3 years already. What's the upgrade process?
I believe it's 4 years.
Seriously?
Yeah.
4.
Maybe you know what? I might have had it for what? I mean, I should just look at the specs in here right now and just be like, what's my laptop at? So he's just talking about you can tap and slide right here, do things like adjust your volume and brightness. We're in the mail. The bar has been transformed when you're in mail. This is interesting. Flagging, replying, it's all in the touch bar when you're in something like the mail app. I think this is really interesting.
I'd be curious though, because when we were watching the 3D touch demos, we were like, oh yeah, that's really cool. And then in reality though, how much are you actually going to use it?
Well, that's a behavior change. I think that every time some new technology is introduced, you actually don't really know if the behavior is going to catch on or not. It's part of just moving tech forward. And so 3D touch is kind of used, but not really. And it hasn't been like a feature here. This, because it's contextual and it's there, like with 3D touch, you have to like figure out what it can do. Yeah. But here it shows you exactly what it can do. So that's a little different. I think that's going to help it. And I was worried like, okay, well, where's still like my volume controls and brightness? They've actually, on that mail app, they've slid over some of the core functionality to the right side of that touch bar and given you some of those extra buttons. So I think that's really smart because I'm like, well, sometime I want to be able to change the brightness all the time, right? So we'll see how that works.
Well, and I think you're right. It's definitely a behavior change, but at the same time, I still wish the entire screen was touch screen.
Oh yeah, I mean we always have. We have for a long time.
Because the toolbar I think is going to help, but it's still not as intuitive as just touching the favorite button on the screen.
The problem with it is that Apple doesn't have a hybrid OS. That is, you don't want a touch screen on what Mac OS Sierra is right now. You actually, that would be more frustrating because it would just be scrolling and kind of hitting things. You actually need an OS that is software that is catered to that. And like we see on Windows machines, like
Windows they have different
useful.
There's different modes too. Like you could switch to
tablet
app mode and back and forth, so it works great.
Like, look, if Apple's ad campaign is going to be showing emojis on this touch bar all the time, it's that don't do that. Like, show us something else. Like, and now my touch bar can emoji.
Yeah. But
it's like for reals, bruh.
I could do that with my phone.
Well, and also you could do Control Command Spacebar to pull up the emoji keyboard. But again, it's tedious to have to remember the commands.
Here's the thing for everyone that's watching our right now, and we're going to open up the phone lines again once this show ends. I'll have to set that up. I'm curious that we're so used to just typing away and doing hotkey commands like sending, copy paste and whatnot. Like I'm just, it's going to come down to how natural it is because my finger's already on the trackpad and kind of knows where to send. Like, I guess it's going to come down to behavior. Like, I'll have to see if I'll actually use this constantly.
I think it's going to help because there's going to be a glowing, like colorful button there that you're looking at. You know what I mean? Like just the fact that it's glowing and colorful, you might want to press it. I don't know.
I love this thing about Safari and, photo bar. Look, if you have multiple tabs on Safari open, you can use the touch bar to scroll through those tabs instead of going to your mouse and clicking. Although, yes, I know there's a hotkey command to jump through tabs as well. Okay. Like I know these things. I'm just saying it's
not many people know that. I don't know that.
The command tab?
You can tab
I never
through.
do that.
Really?
I don't do that.
I command tab all the time.
So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Command tab. I'm going to try that.
Command tab. Yeah, seriously.
So, we'll see. Again, I do like how this is. This is a new functionality.
Yeah, I think when we were talking about video, that's going to be a helpful tool when it comes to editing software.
It's weird though because I mean I agree with you to a certain extent. It's weird though because like I know like I is input, I is inpoint, O is outpoint. Like shuttling through the video like frame by frame or pause play is like the JKL stuff like
But just scrubbing with your finger versus having to scrub, like.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how. I think the key thing is like how accurate that actually is.
Yeah.
Because for me, the way that Final Cut Pro is already built, you actually just use you don't even have to press anything. You use your trackpad to scrub through it already.
Right.
So, do I need to reach up top to scrub through it? I don't think so. So we'll see how it plays out.
I'm super visual when it comes to editing, so I do like having that visual cue.
But would you rather look at it on its tiny toolbar or on your actual editing software?
That's true. I guess you have to look at it. You look at your screen. Actually, you're right.
All the little images on there look tiny. I mean, look at this picture.
That's what I'm saying.
Have up. They look really small. Like, how are you gonna press that?
I think when it's bold icons, it works well. Like for that being your photo gallery. Again, we haven't used this, so I'm not going to be critical of how responsive it is until I actually get to play with it. I think it's definitely interesting. I think it's cool. And anyone, whatever, if you're in the market to upgrade your MacBook Pro, you're going to probably get this because you're in the MacBook Pro family.
I am in the market to upgrade my MacBook Pro. Like I said, I don't know yet.
Well, I'm gonna see where is this your work one or your personal one?
No, this is my personal one.
Okay, well then I'm gonna see this is always the test when we
I know.
Put the money, where the money goes, that tells me all I need to know.
Exactly.
Once they say the price,
when you buy an actual product, like there's always other appealing stuff. But for example, I bought the iPad Pro because knowing that the Surface Pro 4 is better. I outright said that. But guess what? I put my money on the iPad Pro because of the ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you can access iTunes on your on everywhere. But so for me to say, I love the Surface Pro, the reality is I still bought an iPad Pro.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to, so if you buy a Surface book, then I'll give you props.
I don't know.
It just depends. Like it's always just comes down to making that final purchasing decision. That's all that tells me where people are really at.
Well, the weight, so the Surface Pro is 3.5 pounds, and half a pound can make a difference. I guess
it also does 10 times more.
That too.
And multitasking.
Yeah, and like supports.
And it has that touchscreen that we were talking about. So this is going to be a tough decision.
I think ultimately people are so familiar with platforms that they use. The general, I would say, although many people think or flirt about switching, I bet you in reality 10 to 20%, it might be even less than 20%, actually switch computer platforms.
I know.
I even feel like phone is easier to switch, but an actual computer, you've been using it for 10 plus years. Like it really has to be a compelling enough feature for you to do that.
So you're saying that I'm all talk right now, that I'm going
to wait for you. I didn't say that yet. I'm going to wait. If you buy a Mac and if you tell me that you want a Surface, but then you buy a Mac, then I'll know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what else I would consider too is perhaps getting the older version, but with much better specs, because when I bought into it, I was just buying into the MacBook Pro on the entry level, and then now I regret that.
Yeah.
So depending on the price, if they go down, I would consider getting the older.
My here's the thing with every purchase. When someone says, I want a laptop that's going to last 4 to 5 years, you actually have to get the newest one. If you want a laptop that's going to last 3 years, you get the one before. That's how it is. So they're showing other great uses for the touch bar. You can use the terminal. It also works with Xcode. It's really cool. There's a lot of different uses for it, and it changes the experience of the Mac. I totally agree with that. You can. They're talking about the display. This is the best display they've ever made. 67% brighter, 67% higher contrast ratio, 25% more colors. I'm wondering if it has the True Tone tech in it. Maybe not. Consumes less power and is as thin as a 12-inch MacBook display. So this is really cool. This is kind of some of the nitty-gritty stuff that I like. They're showing off an X-ray of what it looks like inside. But again, they're touting this as their best display ever. They're also saying now every MacBook Pro is the most powerful MacBook Pro we've ever made, which it should be because it's the newest one. It's an Intel Core i7 processor, quad core in each 15-inch. I don't know if they're going to outright say what family they're part of, but
I'm assuming it's Skylake at this point.
it's got to be. Display discussion was really quick. They didn't even talk about the resolution of the screen, just brightness, wider color. So
they haven't talked about the battery either. They
will.
said okay, because they said
will.
it consumes less power than the MacBook Pro.
The screen itself does.
Yeah.
So the thing is that with Skylake and working software and also some of these hardware pieces, it's going to have better battery life, but we'll see how much. If they say Radeon Pro graphics card from AMD, so there you go, Polaris architecture. We talked about that with our boy. Was it Alvaro? I can't remember who it was that called, or Leo. One of those guys asked about the graphics chip. 4 gigs of video memory, 50% faster graphics, a solid state drive up to 2 terabyte option.
That's awesome.
That's really sick. 3.1 gigabytes per second, so it's 50% faster speed and performance there. It has a built-in AMD Radeon GPU in the 15-inch model. Still not meant for gaming or VR, but useful for high-res video, according to Dan Ackerman. They've created a new thermal architecture, thinner heat pipes, new fan blades to keep this bad boy cool, and an all-new speaker setup. They fit in a smaller space that pump out more volume, 2 times the dynamic range of audio. So overall, if you compare this based on this chart that I'm seeing, 130% increase in 3D graphics, 60% increase in gaming, and 57% in performance improvement in video editing.
But still no option to upgrade the graphics card.
Not yet, but we'll see. Yes, correct.
Yeah, we'll see when they put the product page up. But what's curious too is the Surface. They spent so much time talking about the improved battery on the Surface Book that I wonder.
They'll have to talk about it. They just have to.
But at this point, 16 hours of video playback is the time to beat.
Or did they say it was video or just overall use?
No, it said video playback. Yeah.
The thing is that was for the 13-inch Surface Book.
Right.
The Surface Book is a 13.5 inch, so we'll have to look at the battery life for both models, and it's kind of somewhere in between. The 13-inch will have a dual-core 6th gen Intel i5 or i7 chips. The 6th gen is Skylake, faster Intel Iris graphics. So the 13-inch is not going to be nearly as beefy as the 15-inch.
My 2012 PC has an i5 in it.
Ouch.
Touchscreen.
Skylake i5, Skylake. Different architecture. Okay, here they're talking about the different ports on it. They call it the fastest, most versatile. Ever looks like we have 4 USB-C ports based on these images.
That's good.
There is a headphone jack, y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, 4 Thunderbolt 3 ports.
Oh, okay, bad.
That should be. It uses the USB-C charger, so each of these ports can act as chargers. Okay.
Each one?
That's kind of
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. So, okay, here we're seeing them all. We have power, Thunderbolt, USB, display, HDMI, or are these the ones that are?
So that's
being
compatibility
eliminated?
with it. So, for example, again, you're going to need dongles. Okay, because this Thunderbolt 3 is a specific type of connection, and then you have the compatibility thanks to dongles.
Thank you, dongles.
Think dongle, baby.
Yeah.
Think dongle. Got to give props to Lexy for that. Think dongle. Here we go. See, we didn't get even to talk about this. Rumors of a new display. Apple is releasing a brand new LG display that they worked in partnership called the LG Ultrafine 5K display.
Ultrafine.
Wide color, built-in cameras and speaker in this display.
Are we still talking about the MacBook Pro?
We're talking about a new display, standalone 5K display that is compatible with your laptop. So, like, if you want to do video editing on a bigger screen or secondary screen. So, really, those ports, right? They're shaped by USB-C. They're the best way to interpret it. Dan Ackerman is saying, see them as USB-C ports that do Thunderbolt power, video output, all of that.
Nice.
The connection to the new Ultrafine 5K display is through a single Thunderbolt cable. It's so cool. Why not add 2? So if I'm reading this right, it might support 2 of these displays. Again, I haven't gotten the confirmation based on our live blog, so people watching are like, oh, dang. This is really nice, though. Again, the iMac is a 5K display, but that was released, I think, a couple years ago now.
Yeah.
So this is going to be, obviously, a more advanced display than that. And again, it was in partnership with LG.
Which I think is a good move. for
yeah.
them to partner up with an actual display maker like LG.
Susan Prescott, VP of Apps Product Marketing, is now on stage. She's going to, I'm assuming, potentially talk about some of the higher end apps that run on these machines. This is cool. I'm really we had our other caller talk about what's going on with the Mac Pro. People ask me all the time what's going on with the Mac Mini, what's going on with the iMac. Again, we don't expect to see that, but we'll see.
Well, is this? I'm assuming the display with the LG is OLED, which might be a first for Apple.
Maybe, but they didn't outright say. They did not outright say that. So we'll find out. So
we're switching gears.
They're showing Final Cut.
First woman on stage, by the way.
No, there was one earlier.
There was?
Yeah, in the she was part of the before the Touch Bar stuff, the Apple TV stuff.
Oh, the Apple TV.
Yeah. All right. They're showing the new Touch Bar and how it's used in Final Cut Pro. They can see the entire timeline in the Touch Bar.
That's too much.
Yeah, that seems a little weird. Like
it's like
if you have so many layers,
how is that going to be useful?
Look, the image, I can see how they're trying to say it's helpful, but here's the thing. If you want to see, a lot of times when you edit, you shrink down your project just to see what it looks like in entirety, and then you expand it again. True. I can see how that is helpful as a visual cue over the kind of comprehensive look, but I don't know if you're going to be able to, with a touch bar, touch on it and scrub through different aspects, but it is small as hell, but it is a good over-the-top view of looking at your timeline, because I zoom in and zoom out all the time when I'm editing video, like when it's a larger project. You just do. And if you look at this picture, it shows the segment that's highlighted.
It's going to be what you said. It's going to be figuring out how people are going to use it in actuality, and it's going to have to be a behavioral change, and I'd be curious to see how much I would actually use it.
Like all tech, right? I mean, anytime you introduce new hardware and software, it's just the way it is. They're Dan Ackerman saying, hey, you could ride faders in Logic or Pro Tools, and you could. So it just comes down to the software and the hardware working together. With a tap, this is kind of interesting. I'm sure you have to set that up, but with a tap, you can add a fade in and fade out just directly on the touch bar in between clips. Again, though, it's really small. Yeah. So I need to see this. We're talking about it. I see this person, the demo of it, but
this is Final Cut.
Yeah, this is Final Cut Pro right now.
A lot of people
iMovie Pro
tripped out when they changed it.
iMovie Pro?
Yeah.
People know what I'm talking about. It's the best thing about Final Cut Pro is it's real-time rendering. Okay, and I've gotten used to it, and for basic editing stuff, I think that the reality is that our entire team here switched off of Final Cut Pro and went to Adobe Premiere inside these offices.
Except
that's
there's
a fact.
One guy for Roadshow, Mark Ganley, and he uses it like a master. He is a master editor.
FCP master?
FCP, yeah. And all of us are like, we don't know how to do that.
FCP Jedi. He's like, yeah, because you don't use Final Cut Pro. You don't use Pro, bro.
He knows how to use it, man.
Right, that's why he passed the learning curve and is now a master. Yeah. That's the thing. We don't want to go through that learning curve of learning
exactly.
everything.
We don't have to relearn it.
She's showing how she's using her finger to scrub through the video fast. To me, that it doesn't look it. I don't know. I'm gonna let I hope that some video editors can call in or comment when the show is done, because the way that she was doing it, she was like looking down and just scrolling. It's like, but she was paying attention to the touch bar and not the screen. Wouldn't you rather just drag your mouse on the playhead while looking at the screen?
There's a hotkey button you could just push.
Not focusing on the touch bar to do that. Like she was, I'm sorry, like you don't edit video looking at your keyboard like this. You just don't. You don't.
You don't.
You look at the screen. For sure.
So to me, that's a little sign of like, okay, I'm going to show you this feature, but I don't edit video. I'm serious, right? I'm not trying to be mean, but that's a fact to me.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. I don't remember which one of our callers mentioned this, but to see if they were going to open this platform to developers to be able to create new ways of using this toolbar, which would be interesting.
Like with apps, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a no-brainer too.
Right. But they took such a long time to open, just like Siri open to developers. So I wonder how long it's going to take them to be able to open the toolbar.
I'm not listening to what she has to say, so I can't, and so I just don't. I'm curious what she's actually talking about in respects to it. They are going to. One quick thing is they're finishing up the demo here, and then Photoshop is going to be showed off here on the MacBook Pro with the Touch Bar, which will be pretty cool. So sorry, Vanessa, what were you gonna say?
No, that's pretty much it. Photoshop will be interesting, although I use Lightroom more than I use Photoshop at this point.
Well, that's more for like photo correction. Yeah. Like Photoshop is when you want to twerk it out and like add stuff and
it.
Yeah, it's like when you really want to
make a meme.
Yeah, exactly. Like the fun stuff. Like putting Oshatongus on a background of a floating genie world. Like that's where I'm gonna go Photoshop this.
True. Well, there it is. There's a demo of the Photoshop.
We'll see what type of stuff this young lady shows off here at the event.
I'm digging the braids.
Gotta go braids. I don't want people to think that I was judging the person giving the Final Cut Pro demo, but you don't edit video like that.
No.
You just don't. You just don't.
Okay, I can resize while I work totally. This two-hand way of working is totally fun. Apparently she's saying totally a lot. We can't hear, but we're just translating what's on our blog.
The tool for cutting things out in Photoshop is select and mask, usually in a menu somewhere, but now in the touch bar. I think that actually is true. The trick is that there's so many functions in Photoshop. I wonder if you're able to customize like the ones that you use the most.
Like your Nostradamus image here.
Yeah, just like there's certain tools that I use that I would.
There it is. That is the magic of Mitch.
Legit. I need it comes down to how you use. I use Photoshop a ton.
We all do.
Like
we
want
it to be real fast too and easy.
Yeah. You can. I guess you could use this touch bar for changing like when you do adjustments and brightness and contrast and things like that. You can see it happen as real time. I mean that can be interesting. Brush size, that can be cool because brush size you normally have to click in this top corner and do all that stuff. So that's it. That's interesting. So she just showed a gist of what you can use the touch bar for in Photoshop. Again, it's going to get significantly better across all apps, but they got to show their pro apps. Like why do you need this?
Right.
You got to show it. I'm just really curious how much I'd use that.
Exactly. I don't.
I probably would use it more for daily stuff than I would for pro apps, but maybe there's a few functions that I would.
Like emojis, Brian?
Or like the real hardcore stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
Like the real hardcore stuff.
The real day-to-day. I
like the changing the colors using the touch bar is kind of cool.
That is neat.
Like, when you're changing your brushes, but, again,
But again, are you going to take your hand off the trackpad and move it up there to do
And it's also,
how much time does this save?
Yeah, because when you click on it, you actually have everything. It's a one-stop shop. That menu is right there in front of you, so you know where to look. Whereas here, like, how do you know what tools are on the toolbar and what tools are on your traditional menu bar?
Look, this is okay. Let's make a comparison right here. This touch bar is like the dial. It's the dial that is on the Surface products allowed you to change the color while you're drawing. Okay. Someone's like, hey, look, I can change color. Char's like saying, yeah, you can change colors while painting with your mouse while dragging your finger on a touch bar. That's actually a lot harder.
Yeah.
Like you're going like here and then here. It's
like mixing on a DJ.
Yeah, you are. It's DJ training. Are they going to call it Photoshop DJ?
Yeah.
So again, it's interesting. It's cool. I think this is cool stuff though. But
well, it's interesting because the two examples they've used are both creative examples. So again, they're really catering to that creative audience that has been their loyal followers for such a long time, and they know that they're risking losing them if they don't do something like this. So it's interesting. Their selection of examples are both Photoshop and Final Cut. Obviously, they're making a point of saying, "Come back to us. This is why you're going to stay with us." If you're a creative individual.
Well, those are their money-making apps for the pros, I mean, quite honestly.
But is it but what we talked about in the beginning, is it compelling enough at this point?
Well, look, even quite honestly, I'm gonna argue that whether they released a touch bar or not, most people will stay buying a MacBook Pro. Like the touch bar is innovative and it's new-ish. Again, it's been done in other products before. But at the end of the day, I think most people that buy a MacBook are going, like, the difference between what the MacBook Pro does and what the Surface Pro is, they're targeting two different types of people. So if you're the type of person that's just doing your normal daily stuff and some pro work, you're most likely going to stick to MacBook Pro unless you really want a true hybrid solution that can do some other crazy stuff. That is still have to figure itself out as well. Right? Both of these platforms have to. The MacBook Pro is more of what you're used to.
Right.
So there is always something to be said about just that comfort of like, hey, I'm used to this. It's a little different. It's a new tweak. I'll get used to it. Here we go. DJ, baby.
DJ.
DJ.
Mixing. Oh.
Algorithm. It's the DJ app.
Again, more.
No, it's called Algorithm. I know Serato. I don't know Algorithm, but Rhythm, RIDDM. I'm not talking with a slur, okay? On the touch bar, they say you have the access to the core functionality of a DJ Pro. Yeah, if it was integrated with some of the other apps, right? Like you said, Serato, like right off the top.
Yeah,
like
I mean, that's what everyone uses pretty much.
Serato.
But again, we're seeing, okay, they hit the video editors, they hit the creative Photoshop users, and now we're hitting musicians. All creatives at this point. You're not going to see any productivity apps probably on this demo.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Bets?
This is the sexy stuff that 95% of the audience is never going to use.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. 95% of the people in that room will never do these things. Like, so it's like,
I know Peanut Butter Wolf's not using this DJ software here.
Probably not. So, all right, what's the next demo going to be? We got artists, musicians, and video editors.
Here's the thing, like you're talking about, they're targeting creatives. Of course they are. That is one of their core markets. But what you saw yesterday is way more creative than what you're seeing here today.
For sure. And you have the productivity element as well because
of course,
it's
you can use that thing as a normal. Yeah, the thing that
Microsoft.
people forget about that Microsoft Studio product, Surface Studio, is you can use it like a computer.
Yeah.
Like they just showed off all the crazy stuff it could do. But you can also use it as a to game as well.
Just
because
a basic PC
Yeah,
computer.
it's a basic piece of computer that is ridiculous.
That is awesome, yeah.
Yeah. That is better than anything else out there.
What I didn't gather from the presentation yesterday is it going to be compatible with virtual reality headsets?
I'm sure. I mean,
the Microsoft display?
Yeah.
You mean the hardware?
The Studio, yeah. Because there's only certain PCs are compatible and can run.
Oh, you're saying like, can you plug in like I don't think, quite honestly, I don't think that's the goal of that PC. Because for virtual reality PCs, people are making them from scratch, like their boxes. They're not, they're not even trying to put a screen on them necessarily.
But a lot of the graphics that you're going to be creating on that new Studio are 3D renderings that are going to convert into virtual reality mock-ups. So I would think that it would be in their best interest to have that compatibility so that you can look at your rendering in like it's supposed to be in virtual reality.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. That's a great point.
There's got to be some HoloLens tie-in for that.
And they did mention the tie-in that you could view it on the HoloLens. I just don't know if it's going to be powerful enough to support the virtual reality headsets.
I don't know.
I mean, look, it was an i7. It has the latest tech in it. It was an i7. There was like a 2 terabyte option. Like I can't remember how many gigs of RAM. So quite honestly, just from a spec standpoint, it rivals what's out there. So if it is, then the answer would be probably yes, right? So anyways, just back to the keynote. Phil Schiller is coming back on stage. They showed off the DJ Pro software using the touch bar can actually support up to 10 inputs from fingers at the same time. That's pretty bonkers. So
that's weird.
That's cool. Again, I'm personally never going to use that app. This is the type of stuff. Oh, here we go. Office, the touch bar.
Productivity apps. There we go. I didn't think
Microsoft
they were gonna
Office.
use it.
Microsoft Office.
All right, I was wrong.
No, it's okay.
I was
No,
wrong.
there's no rights or wrongs here. We're just all making up stuff until it's official. But yeah, Microsoft bringing touch bar functionality to it. Skype Touch.
Cool.
I think, look, when you show these demos, you show what's possible, but it just comes down to, will people actually in these professions not only use this, but use it, like, will it change how they use their computer? Like, significantly. I think the touch bar can help, like, from a day-to-day use and kind of the simple basic stuff, I think I'd actually use it more for that. And I'll just see how I use it with the other stuff. I couldn't say I know.
I know my touchscreen Acer Aspire definitely caused me to change my behavior.
Yeah.
Just pushing buttons on a
Dude.
YouTube video, scrolling.
Seriously, scrolling, like
swiping.
scrolling alone. You're just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, so it
Zooming
definitely
in?
definitely changed my. Oh yeah, zoom in.
Zoom
Definitely
in.
changed my behavior when I first got it. I was like, wow, I'm surprised at how much more I use this.
yeah,
you know,
it's
than I
awesome.
thought.
It's
Appar-
awesome.
Apparently, we have a Johnny Ive soothing video on.
There we go.
On camera right now.
So it's the MacBook Pro kind of feature video that Apple is going to throw up there. So we'll kind of just keep you.
Can you try and do the accent? And
I
Harry
don't. It's hard for me to do it like when I'm told to because
Yeah.
it's just not as good.
It's got to be spur of the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes it's better than other times, and it's typically worst when people are like, "Dude, do it." I'm like, "No, I can't.
Well, we'll wait. Maybe inspiration will
can't.
strike before the end of this keynote.
So they're showing the disassembled Mac. I'm just gonna let the pictures do the words. You know, it's just like you can't. Yeah, you can't. This is always like this sexy stuff. Funny thing is, it's probably gonna look very similar to like some of the shots that we saw at the Surface demo, like the disassembled pieces coming together, the rotation of the screen, all that stuff.
Which is kind of Apple's thing.
There you go, disassembled display. Yeah.
We should have another bingo
Classic.
like last time where
I know.
where we take shots of espresso every time.
Look, everyone has taken, no matter what you say, people have taken cues from Apple's videos in the beginning, and then they'll evolve them. Like, you know, the honesty is Microsoft's videos took pages clearly from Apple's.
Obviously.
But this stuff does look cool.
It does.
They're showing the butterfly keyboard mechanism that I think will be, I don't want to say controversial, but it'll take people a while to really get used to it until they kind of like, oh, well, that's just how it is. It just feels different. The depth feels different. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, I actually like it. I know that it takes a while to get used to, but I prefer the butterfly keyboard than the regular one. It's softer to the touch.
It's quieter too.
It is quieter,
right?
On the 12 inch.
Oh, the
12
inch, right?
Yeah.
But some people that's one of my pet peeves when people pound on their
just
keyboard, right?
Pound on them, yeah.
There's no pounding on this keyboard because it's shallower.
I love typing quietly.
I know.
Although when I'm editing video, I'm like slamming
Yeah.
keys. I'm sure Nick's like, "Shut up, Steve."
So that's you that I'm hearing. Seriously, some people are so abusive to their keyboards. I actually snapped one off because of
Wow.
overuse. The command E, because it's the tilde on the Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
I was overusing it.
That's funny.
All right,
So just a lot of beauty, sexy shots here. I mean, it looks
Apple
gorgeous,
Pay.
showcasing all the different tech there, showing a little bump with the speakers and everything.
I do like that scrub. We're seeing it in action now, and that scrub that we were making fun of before.
Through Final Cut?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Is on the demo video, of course, they make it look nice.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that the one thing that I liked is that actual over the top view from Final Cut.
Yeah.
Like I'm just saying when you're scrubbing through your video and you're staring at the board more than the actual video, it doesn't make sense. She was like,
I see it gives you like a visual cue where you are in your timeline, which is cool
Right.
if you are zoomed way out.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Dan Ackerman's bringing up battery life from the battery life impact of the touch bar unknown. Still have yet to mention
They
battery.
haven't talked about it
Yeah.
yet.
they'll do it when they do the pricing and the specs of it. That's typically when it always comes.
I hope they do because it's never a good sign when they don't mention battery.
They'll
which
do it. They'll do it. They really will. They
They've
really
done
will.
before. Remember 2 years ago, the iPhone 6S, they didn't mention battery because it was exactly
Okay, here
the
we go.
same.
It says battery life is pretty much the same, 10 hours of battery life.
There we go.
But let's see if they break down the difference between the 15 and the 13. It has to be different between the two. It can't be the same.
It is.
I mean, I guess it is.
It is.
Well,
same battery?
16 hours versus 10 hours.
Wow.
Again, I will say this right now. Although the battery life is less, that's not going to tell. That will not be a decider for someone to change platforms.
Sure.
Like I've never seen
it's-
someone say like I changed my phone because the other one had like 2 hours more battery. I've never seen anyone do that. They'll just charge it more.
Sure. But still, I mean, when we're comparing one to the other, which we have been through this entire thing, it does seem like a bummer that they didn't increase the battery life on these computers.
Well, I mean, think about what, it comes down to power and size. The battery inside this is actually smaller. The thickness of the laptop makes the battery smaller. So that's by default, you're not going to have as much battery life, and then you're
on the touchscreen,
and you're adding more things that require more resources.
Right. That light, just the lights required on that OLED touchscreen are going to.
They didn't.
The battery.
We'll find out later if it's actually a Skylake processor, which I assume it is, because in addition to that, if you factor that in, Skylake's one of its main benefits over Haswell is significant battery life increase, somewhere around I think it was 30, 35%. So when that's the case, and it's a 10-hour battery life, all right, we'll see.
Yeah. Well, what it means is that OLED display is really taking a hit on the battery life.
Oh, big time.
For it not to have increased.
Well,
despite the processor.
Well, they said that the display was actually better but it was a better performing display.
True. So maybe that is consuming.
I think more than anything, it's just that there's a smaller battery in this device.
Yeah.
And you're having a few other elements going on here with this touch bar, and so we'll see.
So apparently, going to continue to offer MacBook Air at 13-inch, no more 11 inches. Is that what that means?
So that was the rumbling, yes. So the MacBook Air 13-inch will most likely be the baseline model. The 11-inch was rumored to be going away, and so it's not going to be a MacBook ultra thin 13 like Jaden was asking about. It will be a MacBook Air 13-inch.
Sorry, Lexy.
They do say though that they've made some improvements on it, 12% thinner than the Air and 13% less volume. So it's not going to be an ultra thin, but is still thinner than the old school or quote unquote current MacBook Air design. So that's actually nice to know. They actually at least improve that. Both weigh, the new Air and the new MacBook Pro 13 inches, both weigh 3 pounds.
The new MacBook Air weighs 13 pounds?
Yeah, 3 pounds.
3 pounds, sorry.
Yeah, 3 pounds.
Which I think is...
So there's only on the Air, the 13-inch Pro, they're kind of digging into it because they jump around. There is no touch bar and only 2 USB-C ports. Okay, so there's a 13-inch Pro that's mostly the same, but with no touch bar and 2 USB-C ports. That's why you would get the MacBook Air. I'm sorry.
So the 13-inch MacBook Air is the exact same weight as the previous. It didn't go down in weight, just in
design.
Well, yeah, just in thickness, I guess. Which is kind of a bummer.
Here they go, 3 new models of the MacBook Pro.
13-inch.
There's 2 13-inch models and 1 15-inch model.
And it looks like the difference. Oh, so you can get it without that touch bar.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to make a distinction because I didn't see a picture. So the 13-inch MacBook Pro base model has no touch bar. Then the 13-inch MacBook Pro kind of above that has the touch bar, and then the 15-inch MacBook Pro obviously will have the touch bar.
It's really going to come down to pricing at this point. How much more are they going to charge for that?
I mean, I don't know the price yet, but I'm going to guess it's going to start at $19.99. That's just my guess. That's my guess. I'm just throwing out a number because typically that's what they start. Maybe, 13-inch, maybe more like $17.99.
Yeah.
We'll see. I could be totally wrong.
Maybe that the one without the touch bar is going to be a more entry level $11.99. Maybe no.
That's super cheap. But maybe that's super cheap.
Oh, look, there it is. $14.99, $17.99.
And $13.99. Okay, so we got to look at this breakdown.
It's
$23.99. Okay, wow. $14.99 entry level, no touch bar. $17.99 with the touch bar on the 13-inch, and $23.99. Okay. Note the prices are $200 more than other models when you compare kind of like how that family was. The 13-inch no touch bar ships today. The other 2 models with the touch bars will ship in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Right. So the 15-inch is the price of the entry-level Surface Book, just to put things in perspective, with the Core i5.
Okay.
So it's actually cheaper.
But it doesn't, again, the Surface Book, although smaller screen, functionality-wise, does ridiculous stuff. Just the things that it can do. Again, it's 2 different markets,
True.
2 different types of users, quite honestly.
But at least it's at a lower price range.
Yeah, look, if you're an Apple user, you're like, I'd rather have a 15-inch screen laptop no matter what for $23.99 versus a 13-inch one that pops off. That's the decision that you're probably going to make if you were even considering to jumping over to the other side, you know. So it looks pretty good. It doesn't nothing here shocking from a price standpoint. I think that's falls in line. Nothing like, oh, that's absurd. It wasn't like there's anything. But again, the base model storage I think started with 256 gigs of solid state drive. So knowing video and pro stuff, you're going to bump that up. You're just going to bump up the storage space. So I'm curious what a fully maxed out MacBook Pro will look like. We'll play with it on the website, but this is all pretty much for the most part what we expected, but the touch bar does look cool. I just don't know how I'll really use it yet. Like how I'll really use it. Classic Air is still just $999. So like we had kind of talked about, I said they'll have some sort of a laptop at $999.
But that's no different than, you know, what it was 2 days ago before this launch, which is kind of disappointing. You would think.
Well, it's a bet, but the insides and the actual product are improved. It is a new product. It's not. Yeah, it's a new MacBook Air.
Makes sense.
It's a new MacBook Air.
For all intents and purposes, it is new.
All right. Looks like Tim Cook is up there, finally wrapping this thing up. The MacBook Pro lineups are the best notebooks we have ever made. They better be. They join other powerful products we've announced this year: the watch, the iPad Pro, the smart keyboard. Oh, dude, the smart keyboard, come on. The Apple Pencil and the iPhone 7. Okay, while we're hanging out here.
Wait, let's not forget that battery pack.
Dear. Okay, let me,
It's not on the product page quite yet. Looking at their product page.
All right, let me get into the,
Hey, Brian,
I have
what's a question.
Up?
Would there be a big difference? Because the 15-inch has an i7 chip in it.
Correct.
And the 13-inch is an i5.
You want an i7.
You want the i7?
You want
so
the i7.
It's kind of a bummer if you want a smaller 13-inch,
True.
you don't have that option.
So I don't know. Here's the thing. They might give you an option on the store, on the web store.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Let me see here, store.apple.com, because we just got out of this.
Just according to the slide that they put up, if you get the 13-inch, you're getting an i5.
Well, they've also done in the past where you can upgrade the processor, after the fact. So we'll see. You know.
So I think there is no Air update. What they were showing was that MacBook Pro entry level without the toolbar, because it looks like Dan is saying no iMac, no Air update, no Mac Mini or Mac Pro updates.
Really? I mean,
yeah, it looks like it was just a Mac Pro with no toolbar.
No, they showed the entire family though, and it was the MacBook Air. I'll let people chime in. I'll get the lineup started, but the MacBook Air was shown as just a new redesign, and then they showed the entire family of all 5.
Yeah, I'm just reading it says no iMac, no
I'm seeing
Air
4.
update.
I'm not seeing 5. Is this the image?
I mean 4. Sorry, 4. Yeah. So
Okay.
on the end is the MacBook Air. On the right is the non-toolbar 13. The middle is the toolbar 13, and the far end is the 15.
Gotcha.
So that's what they announced today. So let me go here. Let me get this. Give me a moment, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, because it looks like they're wrapped up to get this thing set up.
No, one more thing.
Can y'all hear me?
There it goes.
Calling studios, host and call.
Oh yeah, this is the behind the scenes junk. They're like, what? You want to know how we got this thing set up in our studio, which normally doesn't have a call center? That's how. Okay. Oh, whoops. Dude, I accidentally hung up on it.
Uh-oh. Technical issues, people. Please stand by. Please stand by. We're...
Okay, so everything's over, guys. The event is over. And Shara has said, bye. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
And now they're headed to the demo area.
I'm not seeing the new lineup on the product page quite yet.
Well, the store is still down, right?
No.
Is it up now?
It's up, but...
Store.apple.com's up?
Oh.
I think it's down right now. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people have been hanging out with us. I do want to let you know that you can call us. The lines are filled, so people are ready to roll. But the phone number to call us, and we'll continue to work through these lines, is 855 979-9489. So I'm going to go to our first caller out in the 443 area code. Please tell us your name, where you're from, and let's get to it. I'd just love to hear your thoughts on the keynote today.
Hey, how's it going? This is Brian from Maryland.
What up, Brian? Nice to hear from you.
Brian's Brian.
Sorry, just a little disappointed from this conference. I thought that I actually had a couple expectations for them, not to go very long on this, but I thought that they were at least going to have a budget-priced MacBook Air that would at least drop over to like $700 or stay in the $700 range. But overall, that touch bar looked really awkward. I use MacBook Pro. It looked really awkward to use. I I don't know why they're going this direction with it. I feel like they just want to make a really nice touchscreen, or they just should make a really nice touchscreen Mac, and they're not. So they have to go for a touch bar. No Mac Pro, no Mac Mini.
Yeah.
They just don't seem like they're interested in attempting to even challenge now what Microsoft has brought to the table. I guess they didn't know that Microsoft was going to go that far, but I don't know. I'm looking now at a professional laptop and Surface Book. I have a Mac Mini. I'm looking at a Surface Book now for the future, at least in the next year, since they didn't update all that much.
You hit the nail on the head. I totally agree with you. Absolutely.
Wait, I thought you were all about the touch bar.
No, but the pricing on the MacBook Air and the fact that now I'm considering the Surface Book as my next laptop because I was in the market for a new Pro, and that there wasn't enough, at least for me, to warrant.
We'll see.
The upgrade. We'll see. I know.
Again, I'm going to see. I'll see.
I do think that, we talked about how awkward it was for Final Cut.
Well, look, the other thing is, first of all, I do just respond to the whole $799, $999 thing. I think what I've learned from Apple and what we've learned from Apple is in their mind, their base level laptop is only going to be that low because in their mind, they're always going to be a premium product, right? In their mind, they've always said it that way. So I hear what you're saying just from like a consumer standpoint, like, dude, you really didn't do too much. Just give me something $799. But I'm just saying from their psychology, they just won't do that, right? To them, any laptop that they make to them is worth $999. True. And so, right? That's what we're talking. That's what we're dealing with here. So, that's why I wanted to hear from people that are using these Pro apps. Like, how much do you really like the touch bar? The whole discussion that we should be stuck on is, will you use it? And I'm curious what type of things you'll use it for, because just like you said, my first impressions, again, we have not touched this, so I want to be open-minded about it, but it looked awkward to use.
Right.
Was there anything else that stuck out with you in the keynote, or,
So the last thing, just to make this a little quick, I know the people are trying to get.
No, it's good. This time's yours. We
really got a lot from that Microsoft Studio or the Surface Studio. I was really expecting something from iMac. I think that the Studio makes the iMac look outdated, and the iMac was once actually up to last week was the most beautiful all-in-one desktop ever produced. I'm surprised. I'm just really surprised that they didn't at least get a power bump. For the iMac. Nothing.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, hey, Brian, thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it. All right, man?
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, you have a nice day.
So the whole thing is like, there were reports that Apple's iMac wasn't ready, and I highly doubt it was going. Look, we'll see what happens next year, but right now there's the all-in-one iMac. It's not even in the same league, but at the same time, they're not trying to appeal to the same audience anymore. But I think the techno heads are like, dude, that Studio is the bomb.
Yeah.
And again, you can just use it as a computer if you want to. You don't have to use it as a studio.
Well, Microsoft did what Apple would do to us 4 years ago, which is you'd see that presentation and walk out of there and be like, oh my God, I got to get that. Yeah. And the past few Apple presentations, the past 2 years maybe, I haven't walked out of one saying that. Apple.
I'm going to say 5 years.
Well,
I'm going to say 5.
Maybe that 5K, when it came out, that the 5K iMac, I was impressed, and I did go out and say, oh my God, I want it. But
did you buy one?
I didn't, no.
Okay.
I didn't have $3,000 to spare at the time, but this one, definitely, I didn't walk out of there saying that. Can't wait to get that MacBook Pro.
I hope that there's people that are calling in that are stoked about the MacBook Pro. I think there are reasons to like it, but I'm just more specific to my biggest gripe was specific to Final Cut Pro. I just don't think necessarily people are going to really use it the way that the demo was showed completely. So let's keep on hitting more of the phone lines. We want to keep on opening them up. We're going to get to our friends in the 713. Welcome to CNET Live. Tell us where you're from and what you want to talk about today.
Hey, this is Corey from Houston, Texas.
What up, Corey? Thanks for calling.
You just mentioned Final Cut. Yeah, I looked at that demo and I was like, oh God, I'm going to have to relearn Final Cut. I mean, I've been doing it for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And I saw that, I was like, they've changed things. Oh no, this means I'm going to have to go back to the Apple store, relearn this. And it was kind of a nightmare. And then, I don't know, the whole time I was like, 4 years, we waited 4 years for this little strip.
Speak truth.
This is the thing.
And one thing I noticed that stuck out was they didn't mention screen resolution. Like I was expecting here 4K screen resolution, but did you guys hear it?
No. It's they didn't even use the word Retina, which is pretty much it's probably still a Retina display, quite honestly. But it's not going to be 4K. Like you would tout that. You would tout that if it was. You really would. But hey, it's okay.
Like said, better color, better brightness, but that doesn't really.
The biggest thing to me, though, is, when you talk about a 4K display, the truth of the matter is real pros are going to get their own displays that are 4K, 5K displays for video editing. So, and they're going to use external monitors to do that. I think that putting in a 4K display would have been nice, and they should have, but I think the high-end pros already just get their own displays anyways. I mean, that's how it's always kind of been. So I'm not trying to say like, that's not good enough, but they didn't mention anything about the resolution. So we'll have to just look at once they publish it on the website, which will probably be within the next 10 minutes while we're talking. Maybe someone can come in and help us out. We'll find out about that. But yeah, I agree with you. The good thing about it is, look, the touch bar is there, but Final Cut Pro should still work pretty much exactly the same. It just might give you a few options to play with, but I think you'll still be okay. All right.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question for you guys. I watch each Apple event. I like to tune in. You guys, you're very funny and entertaining. I just want to know, since you guys have been doing this for some years, do either of you do stand-up comedy to help with this, or improv or anything?
No, I just have mental issues. It's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
This job makes you mental.
This is our one release, comedic release.
So no comedians here, but thank you so much for calling. All right, we appreciate it.
Cool, thank you guys.
Awesome. Okay, let's keep on pounding through. Again, if you guys want to call, we're gonna go through. I'm gonna try and get. We'll do a little bit of breakdown, but man, you guys are just filling these lines up. It's not even funny. Let's just keep on pounding through here. All right, our next guest coming to us from the 719. Welcome to CNET Live. What's going on? Delay. It's okay.
Well, I think we should say welcome to the CNET therapy session, because at this point it's kind of a gripe session.
I mean, I'm honestly not down on it, because I think anyone who wants to get a MacBook Pro who's been in the market for one, from the power that we saw, should be excited. It just so happens to have a touch bar. Like, I think if people might be down because they saw what Microsoft did yesterday, but again, they didn't release a 15-inch screen, and quite honestly, there's a lot of people. So, hey, it's 647 area code. We're calling out at you. Welcome to CNET Live. What's up? What's going on?
Sounds like they're gone.
They're gone too. Okay, I swear we're gonna get a few calls at work here. Okay.
Come on.
Otherwise, I'm just the one with the issue. I don't know. All right, we're gonna give us a shout out to the 201. Welcome to CNET Live. Yes, 201. Hey. What is up? Hey-o. What's your name? Where are you from?
Nate from New Jersey.
Nate from New Jersey. What's up? What do you want to talk about?
I mentioned before that I had the new iMac. I use Final Cut Pro for my YouTube videos on my channel, TECHTIPZ.
Okay, you don't got pimp it like that, but okay, that's all right.
I blocked you, buddy. Go ahead. Finish your question.
All right, so I was wondering if I should trade in my iMac for the MacBook Pro because of Final Cut Pro.
Well, it comes down to, based on the speed, the processor, the hardware that's there. I don't know look, supposedly it's Skylake. If you have the most recent iMac, they upgraded those to Skylake. So it's more about the power it's more about the power of your machine right now than it is of actual Final Cut Pro. So I think that's if you want to, if you want to go ball, if you want the latest and greatest, yeah, you can always buy the most expensive hardware that has the most speed. But if you want the touch bar functionality, I guess you would have to get a MacBook Pro. But if you're going to use it the same way, I don't know if you really need to buy anything different right now. And also, if they upgrade the iMacs in the next 2-3 months and you like the iMac and you're in the market to buy one, then just wait for the new hardware to get on that big screen for you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it. We're going to hit up another line here. Our friends from the 918, welcome to CNET Live. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good. What's your name? Where are you from?
My name's Jeremy, and I'm from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Tulsa, what's up? I've been there. The OKC.
Awesome city.
Tulsa.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, man, I was watching the event, and I was hoping for something really powerful, like an upgrade to the system with, maybe a 7th gen Intel CPU or something. But I'm just disappointed. Right now, I have I'm actually using two 32-inch monitors, and I'm a web designer and internet marketer, and so I use that functionality. So I really don't care about that touch functionality, that they showed. It just looked really awkward. It looked stupid. It looked like you could. The DJ looked like he didn't even want to be up there. I don't know if anybody else knows. He looked really like. And it didn't even sound that good. I was just under impressed, and I'm not impressed with Microsoft either, because that's a specific niche that they're trying to fill, which I don't know how big that market is, because I'll never use that Microsoft computer that came out. But anyway, that's kind of where I'm at. I need something powerful to run multiple applications. I just feel like the price point and everything just didn't hit the spot.
Do you think, though, that ultimately, if you price point wise, right, even if it didn't hit the spot, do you think, though, you're in a spot where, look, it's the latest MacBook, whether they put the touch bar on it or not, were you looking to get it, or you were just saying you want something?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
So
yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at, because like the OS, as far as the OS goes, there's nothing like the Mac OS. Okay. So for what I'm doing with web design, internet marketing, to do the multiple different functionalities that I'm running through different apps, different programs, and I need that speed and that consistency of an OS that doesn't break down all the time. I used to build my own PCs, and I had like the fastest hardware, the best graphics card, but it broke down all the time. I'd boot it up and then it wouldn't boot sometimes. It just didn't work. The Mac OS works flawless, but the problem is they're not catering to the people who are buying their hardware. Yeah. And I switched to Mac mainly because of Windows 8. It wasn't a platform for developers, content creators.
So let me ask you a question. Would you consider now switching to a PC again, switching back because of what you saw today?
No, because, again, the OS, I'm stuck to the OS and the reliability of it. I'm just kind of sad that the hardware is not there.
I agree with you. So are you going to look into buying the 15-inch, or are you just not going to, are you going to skip this update?
I think I've got to buy it. Do you guys have info about when the 7th gen CPU might be coming out?
The 7th gen CPU, the Kaby Lake, is rumored to be coming out later this year, but the big issue is that Cannon Lake, which is the next generation processor family, which will see more improvements, is coming out sometime, I believe, in early mid 2008. I think even 2000. Did they say 17 or 18? I'm sorry. I'll have to look that up again real quick. I'll be able to check it. But yeah, at least Kaby Lake is supposed to be coming sometime, within the next few months or so. But Cannon Lake is going to be a little further down, and really that would be like arguably in the next generation of MacBook Pros. They would most likely skip Kaby Lake to jump to Cannon Lake when those are ready. But I'll
we're talking
look it
2
up.
years at this point, probably.
I'll look it up real quick. So
awesome, another 3 years.
Yeah, exactly, another 2 years.
I mean, it's gonna be really interesting to see how it plays out. But hey, you know what? Thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it. And it's interesting because I thought there'd be more people hyped up about it, but at least right now there's not. So if you're out there, remember the number you can call us, and thanks again for calling, is 855-979-9489. We're going to be here. We'll stick around for maybe around 10 more minutes. We'll kind of take the next few calls, and then we'll go from there, all right? So let's go to 628, our friends in that area code. Welcome to CNET Live. What's going on?
Oh, no.
Hello?
Hey, hi. What's up? What's up? Welcome to CNET Live.
Hi, this is Marina from San Francisco.
Well, come on, the city by the bay. We're like your neighbors. We're like right next to you right now.
Yes, I have a MacBook Pro 2016 13-inch Core i7 for work, and it's a beautiful machine. And I also use an iPhone 5S. But my main question is that has Apple become Toyota under Tim Cook, just very conservative and very reliable machines, and not, they have a war chest, and I just wonder why they're just not pushing the envelope more.
Okay, so this is a great question, and I'm gonna kind of jump into this, and Vanessa can chime in. Look, there was a recent there's a recent article that was written about how Tim Cook is acted more like Steve Ballmer as a CEO when you compare Bill Gates to Steve Ballmer and Steve Jobs to Tim Cook. And what I mean from that point is you have two of like the great innovators of our generation from a tech standpoint in Gates and Steve Jobs. And this article was sent to me by my friend from Saeed, so I got to give him a shout out because he's like, you should read this. And what it comes down to is Apple is a company that is executing right now. Their profits are soaring. They can't financially, overall, they have never been in a better place. They're sitting on like billions of dollars of cash. Their profits and revenues have doubled since Tim Cook took over in 5 years. Well, guess what? There's another company that did pretty much almost exactly the same thing. That was Microsoft under Ballmer's leadership. But where did Microsoft fall short in that time? It was finding out and being in front of new platforms like search, which was Google, like the smartphones, iTunes. Those platforms were emerging. Microsoft kind of just kept on focusing on the profits and on their operating system where, guess what, their bread and butter is, but they weren't innovating during that stretch of time. Now, when you look at Apple, you talk about what are some of these new emerging platforms and where are they behind? Let's talk about TV streaming service. Let's talk about AI. They're behind with Google's Assistant and Alexa's AI assistant. They're not doing a VR product right now. Their whole autonomous car. They're behind the new emerging platforms that everyone else is doing. But guess what? They're making lots of money off of the legacy that they have, off of the stuff that basically was part of SJ's era. The only new product that they have created during Tim Cook's 5-year reign is the Apple Watch. So when you say, are they the Toyota? I think if you're trying to say, are they a vanilla company? Right now, they're more just about a company that is executing and making money, but they quite honestly aren't innovating. Look at what Microsoft put out yesterday. Look at what Xiaomi's Mi Mix, which is basically the phone that everyone thought, when you start hearing people say, oh, I thought Apple would do that. You hear that about the Tesla car. They're the Apple of cars. You saw what Microsoft did yesterday. People are saying, oh, they Appled that event. You see what other companies are doing, like Alexa's product, the Amazon Echo. That is a product when you say, where are new markets that you could explore and move forward with? That is one of those things like, in the past, that might have been some type of thing that Apple would have done. They would have created this new product to create a new market. We haven't seen any of that at all. The Apple Watch was a reaction to the Pebble Watch because it got popular and every tech company jumped on it. Those are not innovative thinking ways of pursuing a business. Those are smart, safe money ways. So I think that in that totality, I wouldn't necessarily call them Toyota. I just think that they are lacking real innovation.
Right, but Toyota is a market share leader in the car business.
They are
as well.
They are,
and they produce very reliable cars, strong brand loyalty, just like Apple. But they're not the most innovative company either. And for me personally, I have an iPhone 5S because I'm waiting for that spectacular iPhone, and I'm holding out for next year in hopes that they'll produce what you have all spoken about in terms of rumors on your previous shows. So
it's also hard to compare tech companies to to car companies, just because you're not going to stay with a tech brand because it's reliable. In the tech world, we want innovation. So whereas in the automotive industry, you do crave that reliability because in a lot of scenarios, it is a life or death issue with reliability, and you want a sturdy car and you want that brand that you're comfortable with. But in the tech industry, because it's tech, we crave innovation. And sure, you can bank on the comfortability and the reliability of Apple for a while, but because it's tech, we do, like, at least me as a user, I want to push the envelope. I want to have something innovative in the in my tech.
But would you? But I know very few people who would give up their iPhone.
100% agree.
Because of reliability.
At this point, though, but if we continue to see this trend where they're lagging behind in innovation, there might be that one phone, or there might be that one computer, or that one feature that finally makes you jump out of your comfort zone, right? Like that thing that might seduce you out of your comfort zone and go into that unknown tech world. And
right, and for me, that would be though the hardware is unimpressive, e.g., the Google Pixel, it's the AI feature that really interests me.
Yeah,
it's the AI.
Yep, that's where it's all at.
Because one day I'd like to see a smartphone without a screen where I can just talk to it.
Yeah,
and that's the goal, right? That's what basically they're trying to do. Make your phone so good that we no longer have to even really need buttons for it, right? And that's what a lot of people are working towards. So I just want to say thank you for your call, because I think it's very important of just the direction of what's happening here. So thanks again. Okay, we're going to grab a couple more calls before we head on out. We have our friends from the 347. Welcome to CNET Live. What's up?
Hello, this is Hassan from New York. I'm basically calling more for a technical nature about the new MacBook. Basically, the touch bar is an OLED display, an OLED display, and from what I know about those, they do have an image persistence and burn-in issue, where basically the blue pixels have a shorter lifespan, so the color temperature degrades over time, it gets lower, as well as being more susceptible to burn-in. So I wonder how will that touch bar actually handle basically the test of time.
Well, you know what? I have your answer for you. We're going to have to wait and see. Like, I can't, none of us know how it's going to perform over time. I really don't know. Like, your points are right on the money, but I don't know how it's going to, perform over time. We'll just have to wait and see, because like that, most people keep their laptops. I'm going to say, this might be I would say most people keep their laptops around 3-4 years, 5 years. That's typically that window of time that you upgrade or change it out based on how tech moves. But yeah, I don't have the straight up answer for you, so we'll just have to figure that out. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, just real talk. All right, here we go. Taking another call from the 407. What's up? Welcome to CNET Live.
Hey. Adams from Orlando, Florida.
Yes, welcome.
I'm a 18-year-old student, computer science major, and I was really looking to either decide on getting into the Mac OS or stay on the Windows platform. And I really liked the Touch ID integration with the power button. Not really hearing people talk about that. And I'm not sure what's going on, if they're going to include a MagSafe adapter for the USB-C. So what do you guys think about that?
They didn't say anything about that, and the good thing is, at least with the USB-C adapters, there's some third-party companies that basically create this little attached dongle that basically gives you this whole MagSafe-like experience. I think Griffin does it, and a few other companies that if you look up for USB-C MagSafe, you'll find something like that. I think the Touch ID power button is cool. Again, I don't know if it's not a game changer to me from a standpoint of I do have a power button. I like that it's secure and it logs me at the same time. I think it's one of those subtle things that we'll but it's not a feature that would say, oh, I have to buy my computer for this. You know what I mean? It's a nice improvement though.
I had kind of forgotten it. They did mention it almost as a side note, but if it does replace passwords and if it's compatible with multiple browsers and I can use my fingertip instead of having to remember 20 million passwords across devices and across websites and browsers, then you're right. It might be a cool feature that that at least I hadn't considered when I was thinking about this computer. So, yeah, maybe.
All right. Let's just take. I'm sorry for everyone that's been waiting on the phone lines, but you guys and gals are all awesome. I'm going to take one last call, and we'll kind of leave it from there. But we're going to go to the 806. Welcome to CNET Live. What's going on?
How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Mike. I am calling from Lubbock, Texas. I just have like a couple of questions. They're like the delays for AirPods, and I was expecting like the fanless MacBook Pros, and like one more like the Lightning earpods. Will it work with the new MacBook? Or I have doubt with that. Maybe it won't.
Okay, you know what? You're breaking up for a second, so I'll take one more call, but I'll answer at least what he was referring to. We already kind of talked about the AirPods delay. We don't know when they're coming, so we'll just have to wait and see when that actually happens. You were referencing about the Lightning port on a MacBook. They have the the USB-C Thunderbolt ports on there. There are adapters and dongles that you can use, but at least the good thing is that there's still an actual headphone jack on those machines. So I couldn't really hear everything that he was saying, so I'm sorry, but we'll take one more call. And we're going to, you're going to be our last call. Oh, they're delayed. 901. Hey, 901. Are you there? Can you hear me? Can you turn down the volume of your computer?
Hey, how's it going?
What's up? Thank you. What's up? What's your name? Where are you from?
Hi, DJ from Memphis, Tennessee.
Memphis, Tennessee. What's up?
How's it going? Well, I'm currently a student. I am a computer science major. I graduate very soon. I currently use the iPad Pro as my keyboard. That's how I take all my notes in class and things of that nature. And if you've ever connected the iPad Pro to the keyboard, it kind of almost has that, touch bar kind of feel to it, as in like the predictive text and then like the copy, paste, and fill, all that's kind of right at the bottom of the screen. And to me, it is a wonderful idea. Like it's a awkward concept when you think about it, but when you start using it, it comes very fluidly.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are trying to overlooking it. It is a reach up, and it's an extra step you have to think about. But once you get used to it, it is like no other.
Interesting. I'm glad we're getting
just a simple, just a simple like copy and paste on that screen. Just it makes a total difference. Even though I can just Command C, Command V, I'd rather hit paste on the screen.
No, I'm feeling that, man. And look, this is the calls that I want to hear. I don't want to hear everyone being like, I think from a pro standpoint, it's questionable, but I think from a daily use type of thing, I think it can come in super handy. So I'm with you on that, And again, we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out when we actually get these. But thanks so much for calling. We appreciate it, all right?
No problem.
All right. So, Miss Vanessa, I think we're going to wrap things up here.
That's good. I'm glad we ended on a positive note. I'll just say that.
I think look, at when people are really fired up about something, they'll let us know. We took over 10 calls, and he made a great point about how it's useful, but we didn't get a single person that was fired up about the event. And I think part of that is because of what we saw yesterday. It's just part of it is set
timing.
Part of it just set the tone. So again, new MacBook Pros out. The 13-inch with no touch bar will be available today, but the two touch bar versions, the 13-inch and 15-inch, those are shipping in about 2 or 3 weeks. We also saw Apple drop the new TV app for searching and finding content, shows a lot easier. That's available on your Apple TV, your iPad, and your iPhone. That's also going to be coming out sometime in December. So just stick with us. Again, CNET, all that good stuff, reviews, previews, first hands. We have a team over there in Cupertino that is getting to goof around and play with this stuff. So we'll get those videos out to you as soon as possible. Other than that, thanks, Vanessa, for hanging out.
Yeah, thanks
for this
for
whole
having
time.
me.
Mr. Beecham, got to show love, man.
Yeah. It's been fun. Thanks for watching, everybody.
It's been fun, guys. I'm running the show before you say bye. All right, we'll see you guys next time in the next keynote. That probably will be next year, maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But until then, stay safe. We'll talk to you guys soon. All right, peace.
Bye.